Stop looking at me like that.
Oh, there you're going to
Why
go.
are you looking at me like that?
I'm waiting for you to
Your
go.
big, beautiful
Okay, sorry,
eyes.
I won't look.
Welcome to RNS Podcast. I'm Dylan.
And I'm Evan.
This podcast, if you don't know, is about real nerd stuff, and we talk about real nerd stuff constantly, and we just keep it real with you.
Facts.
Isn't that right, Evan? So if you appreciate real takes, real issues, real movies, real films, you should hit the like button. You should share the video with someone that would enjoy it, and you should also subscribe for yourself.
Facts.
And for a loved one.
We now have 58 subscribers.
Go into your loved one's account on their laptop, on their phone, and you just go ahead and hit subscribe for them.
Facts.
Right?
Get to 60. We're so close.
So you were about to say, yeah, we have 58?
Yeah.
58's good.
It is good. It's good. I'm happy.
Yeah, we do say it constantly, but we appreciate every little subscribe, every little like, and it helps motivate us. But we're never going to stop this, even if we're asked to.
We appreciate all the little things you do.
So yeah, we're going to talk about the Batman. Evan, do you want to mention anything before we get into the Batman film?
No, I don't.
I guess we could tell this is related to the Batman, but we could tell our cool story.
Oh, well, I thought that would be part of the Batman discussion.
No, it's kind of, yeah.
Well, it's a good way to start. But, anything, like, related? Not really. Nothing to say.
Okay, cool. Well, just thank you for anyone watching, anyone that has watched. You are a wonderful person. But yeah, moving on into the Batman film. Today, me and Evan went out to a couple stores. We went to the mall, we went to some stores, and we both wound up buying some Batman merch.
We did.
The Batman merch.
I got the, 3 of the McFarlane figures. I got Riddler, Catwoman, and Batman.
And we wound up being able to find the lone Batman figure.
We did,
at Target. It was the last
Target,
one.
yeah.
That's
that was
pretty
awesome.
cool. And I got the Lego Batman set that comes with the Batmobile. So I'm pretty happy about that. I have like 5 other Batmobiles in Lego, so they'll go nicely with my collection.
That is cool.
As General Grievous would say.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck he says. So yeah, very exciting.
It was exciting. Good day.
We're exercising our rights as, what's the word? What do they call people that buy stuff? Capitalists.
Is that what they call people who buy stuff?
I guess so. But yeah, we're exercising our right to buy things. Very cool.
We're fighting for our right to party.
We're fighting for our right to party.
Yeah, basically.
And everyone, I'm just curious, you're getting that other one too, right? Oh, that's coming in the mail?
Yeah, that's coming Monday. So I'm also getting the Bruce Wayne in, like with the book bag and then the jacket, and he has the, what's it called, like the bandana.
I think it's
face.
called the Wanderer.
It's something like that, yeah.
But, because I know there's a Lego too, that one, but,
yeah.
It's a cool figure.
Yeah, I'm getting that
and
one.
you're gonna put him, where are you gonna put him?
Where am I gonna put him? So yeah, I have Ryan Gosling from Blade Runner. So I have a row with him and then Timothy Chalamet from Dune, and I'm gonna put him right above them. So it'll be Robert Pattinson, Timothy Chalamet, and Ryan Gosling on a row.
The Sigmas.
Yeah, it'll be all the Sigma males.
The Sigma brothers. That's badass.
Yeah, it is.
I like that for you.
Thank you.
So yeah, just some cool stuff we bought. And is there any cool Batman merchandise news? I don't know. I wish McFarlane Toys would stop making toys. I don't like McFarlane Toys, but I'm glad that you're enjoying them.
Thank you.
Were those Dune figures McFarlane?
Yeah, they were.
They were. Yeah, so you've been enjoying the McFarlane toys.
I have been getting. I mean, they've just been doing merchandise for movies that I enjoyed recently. So.
Yeah, WB fucks with them, I guess.
I guess so. Yeah.
So,
yeah, they do, because they've done a bunch of those DC figures. All those, like, DC multiverse figures.
Well, yeah, and even,
that's all of them.
Yeah, they do random multiverse shit, and they also did the Suicide Squad one. We saw, like, a Peacemaker Suicide Squad figure that was awesome.
But yeah, it was that line, though, like DC multiverse.
Right.
Because it was the same thing with the Batman figures. It's like DC multiverse, Batman, the Batman. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I do kind of like that they simplified that, because they used to do really weird shit where, like, movies would be different licenses and they'd be all over the place. But
it's kind of like Marvel Legends. I guess how they have the movies under Marvel Legends and like
they
you know what I mean, and then the comics.
They switched to McFarlane is basically like their Hasbro now,
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
I guess so, yeah.
Even though, I don't like McFarlane toys, but
yeah, they're definitely not as good as they used to be. They used to be really on point.
But
I thought the Riddler and the Catwoman figures are actually really nice, in my opinion. I like them. The Batman one's okay, but the Riddler and Catwoman ones are.
I saw the Batman. He looks pretty good.
He looks good, but his like face is kind of weird. Like, why are his lips look like
that? They never hit on the faces. They never hit on the faces.
I don't know. But I like I said, the Catwoman and the Riddler ones, they both look good to me.
Oh, since we're talking about toys and recent films,
yes,
do you mind if I mention a little something?
Of course.
I've been waiting for a long time to get the Walmart exclusive Doctor Strange.
I didn't even know it was a Walmart exclusive.
It is a Walmart exclusive. That's why I was so worried about it, because those are a bitch to get when they're exclusive to Walgreens or Walmart or some shit like that. And I also got the retro card Scarlet Witch. So
yes,
I guess those relate to Multiverse of Madness in some way. So there you go. But I'm just really happy they look good.
Multiverse of Madness.
So we got all types of toys going on, and both of us are very excited for that film.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And do you want to get into, Evan, our experience for the first time seeing
the Batman? Yeah, okay. So we were able to see it Wednesday night. So our plan was to see it Thursday night, and then I had managed to scoop this Wednesday night ticket. There's one seat left in the back, and I got it really quick. And I was like, Dylan, should I go? I was like, I might not go. I do want to see it with you for the first time. And you were like, oh, well, if you cancel that ticket, I'm going to take it. So I'm like, okay, fuck it.
Evan,
I'm going to go then.
The only reason Evan was really, considering not going, he's like, oh, I don't want to make Dylan mad. I just want to go with him, on Thursday. So I don't, But then he mentioned it, I don't know, should I go? And I was like, bro, give me the ticket if you can't decide, because I want to go.
So I was like, fuck it, then I'm going to go see it. And I was just going to see it again Thursday. And then it got epic. Dylan, now I told my side of the story already. Now the interesting part is your side.
Yeah, so it was happening that Wednesday. Felt like such a this is tangentially related. I'm sorry, but that it felt like such a Friday that Wednesday, and I was like, I'm entitled to see the Batman. Why don't I get to see the Batman? And all the reviews were coming out for it and shit like that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, why don't I get to just see it now? Well, I'm important. I need to see it for my podcast.
For real.
All that type of shit. So, it's interesting because me and Evan were both looking at the AMC app throughout the day, and we didn't tell each other.
Yeah.
Because I was looking for if a seat popped up, and so was Evan. And it was really fucking funny because Evan messaged me, and he was like, dude, a seat opened. It was at the front of the theater, but it still had opened.
Yeah,
which was interesting, which was cool. And it was really funny because right after Evan was like, a seat opened, I had sent him the receipt. Because I was already in the process of getting the ticket when I was getting the messages from you.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought you saw it and then you went and grabbed it immediately. No. It was really quick though, so I was like, how the fuck are you doing so quick?
Because I was already doing it.
Yeah.
That was really funny. So yeah, and then I sent that, and we were like, oh shit, what are we gonna do?
Because he was in the very front, I was in the very back.
So at that point, I was like, oh well, I'll just sit in the front, and then if someone comes, I'll move. And then
It's in the back.
Or yeah, I'll sit with Evan in the back, and then if someone comes, I'll just move back to the front.
Yeah.
And then another seat opened.
A few rows away from me. It was a lot farther back.
A much better seat.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, well, even better. I can actually enjoy the movie. At that point, I was thinking if I have to go sit in the front row, if someone comes and takes the seat next to you, they make me move. I might leave the theater. It depends. It depends what the layout looks like because it was Dolby.
Yeah.
And their seats aren't quite as close to the screen as some other ones, so it might not have been as bad. But I was like, I'm probably just gonna leave if I fuck. But yeah, I got that, secured that seat towards the back. That was more towards the back. But then when we got there, I was like, well, we'll still see. I'll still sit next to Evan. If someone comes, I'll move. And then the seats start filling in the theater. Me and Evan got there kind of early. And the seats start filling in, and every time someone comes up, we're kind of worried that it's the guy next to me, but it was interesting because, it was you, another guy that would have been alone, and then couples, and then a bunch of groups. So we knew that we were looking for a lone guy.
Yeah.
Because clearly, the couple next to me would have told us, oh, hey, someone's, with us.
Yeah,
so, if I just sat next to them. So we knew it was just a lone guy. And eventually this guy comes and saunters up. It was, right when the movie was, starting. It was,
right before, during, the Nicole Kidman shit.
Yeah, so all the trailers play. And
at
then,
AMC, the classic Nicole Kidman.
And then, the AMC advertisement plays. And then in this movie, they happen to play, a DC reel. And then
that was the next day. At the Wednesday night screening, they didn't play the DC.
There was no DC reel?
No.
Okay.
They just did the Nicole Kidman shit.
So,
it wasn't until Thursday.
There was an AMC ad, and then they play the movie. And then while the fucking shitty AMC ad is playing, if you don't know, very shitty ad, very annoying, and it's faux inspirational. It's this is an ad for where we are right now. But yeah, and then a fucking spindly, greasy,
That's mean.
Pale.
That's mean.
I'm setting the stage.
Okay.
Okay, because he looked like the Riddler.
That's mean.
No, he looked like... Remember?
I know, but it's so mean.
No,
I don't like talking about some random guy like this on the pod.
Okay, well, he's not that greasy, but... he was like a skinny white guy with like long black hair.
Yeah.
So he did look like the Riddler from the Batman.
Batman. Yeah.
Television,
yeah.
like the animated cartoon.
Yeah.
If you want to Google him and get a picture in your mind. And yeah. So basically, he goes all the way up the road. The movie's starting, and he's like kind of staring me down. And I don't know how he can tell that I took his seat and not Evan. Maybe he has great sight or something, but. Yeah, he was staring at me. Maybe it's because I was looking back. I don't know.
I was like, no matter what, when he comes, this is definitely my seat. Like, 100 verifiably my seat. But I was like, I don't know what Dylan's gonna do. But anyways,
No, but basically, I saw him and I was like, oh, like okay, he'll just come over and I'll move.
Yeah.
But he like was just staring at me for a while, just standing there in the aisle, and he decided to go all the way back down, because like we said, we're at the top row. He goes all the way back down the stairs.
We're like in the top row towards the center. So they were like some of the best seats.
We were pretty much dead center.
Yeah.
And then so he goes all the way back down the stairs, all the way across to the other staircase on the other side of the stairs. And he stares at me again from the other side. And then he eventually just sits down on the top row.
Yeah, so it's like somebody else at the top row didn't show up. But it was towards the side. It wasn't in the center. So we kind of lucked out. Yeah. That not everybody felt. At first, we were thinking, because like it wasn't until the ad we were thinking like, "What? Oh shit!" With the seat next to me, did he really not decide to show up? That's like the best luck. And then he showed up right before the movie started.
Yeah, so that guy like, and he like, we didn't like specify. He didn't approach us at all.
Yeah.
He just kind of gave up.
Yeah, like I said, if he came up, Dylan, you would have been like, okay, yeah,
definitely,
just left.
I would have moved. And to be honest, when I saw him, I should have moved anyway, but. I don't know. His Sigma stare was not quite enough to get me to stand up out of my seat and move. So,
but yeah, so someone else didn't show up in the side of the top row, and he just sat there.
Yeah,
and we were like, "Oh shit!"
I was really fucking happy though that we got to sit together. So,
yeah, and in good seats, and
a day early.
Yeah, so we saw it a day early, had good seats. It was awesome, but
it just worked out.
It was at the price of someone else's seat for Dylan. It
was the price of that guy's life. So.
I feel I shouldn't say I feel bad. I kind of feel bad, but I mean,
you did encourage me.
That,
well, I was thinking too. I was like, oh man, like if I see him and he's still there, like when we get up, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, sorry if that was your seat, whatever. But
no, that was like, don't say anything. That would be weird.
Well, I did feel bad. Like
no. But I was like telling you, because you said you wanted to say sorry to him. I was like, no.
But he was gone.
Yeah.
He immediately ran out of the theater. So, funny story.
Yeah, that's what happened.
It was funny.
Yeah. But yeah, so we did see the Batman a day early. So.
And then we saw it again.
Yeah, and we saw it again Thursday night. Yeah, because we already had our tickets, so we just went and saw it a second time.
I had a couple Jack and Cokes.
The second time, right?
Popcorn, soda, candy.
Yeah.
My check hit Wednesday night, and then Thursday I had the money, so I was ready to spend some money.
The first night I saw it with the icy. Second time I didn't. Oh, I had Sour Patch Kids the second time.
Nice.
But I ate them all before the movie started. I ate them all during the trailers.
Yeah, because Joey at work. Sorry for doxing Joey, but
oh, of course, yeah.
I work with.
We definitely never mentioned him before.
I work with Evan's brother Joey, and like the next day at work, he was like, "Yeah, I haven't paid like $5 for Sour Patch Kids." I was like, God.
Did he say something about that? Yeah, they're expensive as fuck.
Well, because I think we were talking about
how expensive the shit is. At
I was
movies.
telling him how expensive my drinks were.
Yeah.
Because for like a Jack and Coke, it was like $13. Yeah. 13, Evan.
Yeah, it's expensive as fuck.
Expensive, very expensive. So, what a hot take.
Oh yeah, but also that is part of the reason because like we already did have our tickets to see it on Thursday night, but also part of the I think we might not have went again. If Joey didn't also want to go on Thursday night,
yeah,
we might not. We might just have canceled it.
Yeah,
but we ended up seeing it a second time because like Joey's like, oh, I want to see it too on Thursday night, so we went again.
Well, and I also figured like, might as well like get a good grasp on the movie before we do the podcast, and also like I liked it; it was fun.
I did enjoy the movie
so I wanted to see it again.
quite a bit. So I guess we can start talking about it now.
Yeah.
So the first time we watched the movie, for like the first half, me and Dylan were like, oh, this shit is fucking amazing. Then the second half, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. I started feeling disappointed. And so that was kind of our initial reaction. Well, my initial reaction, at least. And then when I saw it the second night, I started, and I went home after I saw it the second time. I was like, yo, I actually do really fuck with it. I think maybe the first time I went in with like way too high expectations, maybe, and they were mostly met in like for most of it. But then like some of it let me down in the second half, and also I was like, also found the story kind of convoluted and hard to follow the first time. But then the second time I had like a good grasp on what was going on, and it was easy to follow. And then I ended up enjoying it quite a bit. And I've been thinking about the movie a lot since I've seen it, so I was like, I've been liking it more and more. So
well, guess what?
I quite enjoyed it. Yes.
That's interesting and that's good. And we'll unpack that.
We will.
So,
I just wanted to give my brief reactions.
yeah, I'm pretty much. I had the same opinion, and I guess it's a kind of a popular opinion. Like the first half is great. The first half is fucking amazing.
It is. It is.
And the second half for me, it falls off a little bit. There's still some good stuff in there, and I still like the movie overall.
Yeah.
So that's my general thoughts as well. And I liked the movie about the same the second time. I still enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I've come around a lot. I really liked it.
Evan,
Yes.
give your rating of the movie. What's your rating?
It's tough. Like, at first I was like, this is like a 7. And the second time I saw it, I was like, it's definitely an 8, I think. And then since I've been thinking about it, I've enjoyed it even more. Like, so I was like, damn, is it a 9? Like, I really fuck with the movie a lot. I can't lie. But I had to see it a third time before I could, like, definitively say.
You want to go now?
For, yeah. Bye. We're gonna go see it again.
All right, we cut back in. We've seen the movie a third time.
Oh, shit.
Do you like it more? Is it a 10?
It's a 10 out of 10.
Oh, my God.
No, but right now I'm settling on an 8 for now.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. I give it my classic 2 out of 3 stars.
2 out of 3? Yeah.
Alita? You'll find out next week.
Yeah. We recorded an Alita episode, but we didn't end up releasing it this week. But it will come out after this one, so stay tuned.
We may see some slight outdated things in that, but that's okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to edit it out. Because we were like, we're going to see Batman next week. And now, yeah. So, but you won't hear any of that. RNS viewers.
Well, you don't really have to. It's okay.
I guess not.
Just leave it in. It's fine.
I don't like it. It bothers me.
The fact that we even edit these is already effort enough. So,
I like it.
I like it. So, anyways, Batman.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I guess there was our non-spoiler review. I guess. So from now on, so you know, spoilers. I think we're just,
I mean, all of our reviews are spoiler reviews for the most part.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I don't think we've ever done a non-spoiler review.
We didn't spoil anything yet. So actually, there's not even that much to spoil here. In my opinion.
I guess not.
I don't think so.
It's more about the experience.
I would say most of what's good about this movie is in the execution.
Yeah, I actually agree. The story really isn't anything fucking crazy or anything.
No,
it's really not.
It's pretty standard.
Yeah.
I guess where do you want to start? Do you want to start with briefly like some other characters or?
Actually, I was about to say I think that is where I want to start because that was like I think that's the highlight of the movie for me.
Yeah, I would agree.
Just in general, the characters and the acting. All the acting is like fantastic in it. Everybody went great. I don't think there was a weak link in the entire cast.
No,
everybody went great.
I would agree with that.
And I really liked Robert Pattinson a lot as Batman.
For me,
I really liked him a lot.
Of the main characters that I really liked, he's probably my least favorite, but I did like him.
I don't know who's my favorite. I don't know. I really like him a lot. I might like him more than Bale Batman. I've been thinking about it, and I think I do.
You're Evan. Joey was talking shit on you.
On me?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, not like serious, but.
What did he say?
But he was like, dude, fucking Evan said Robert Pattinson is better than Bale.
I mean, I'd have to watch him again. Maybe it's like too early to say, but I was like, yeah, I fuck with it. I mean, I don't think that's really even that crazy of an opinion, because I don't think nobody's ever been like, yeah, Bale Batman, he's like fantastic. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, he's good. I'm not saying
people are crazy about the movies, not the
you know what I mean?
As much.
So I don't really think that's like an out of pocket opinion.
People are crazy about Heath Ledger.
Like
not really like Bale.
This Batman, he felt like scarier to me than Bale Batman.
I'd agree with that.
Right? I kind of like that personally.
I don't know. Like I said, I had to think about it too. And how does Trump say it? And how does it? I do want to do Batman Begins soon. We don't have to do it.
We will do it soon. But I've been wanting to rewatch it.
It'd be interesting to think about when I rewatch Batman Begins. I might even rewatch it like soon.
Yeah.
And then maybe I'll rewatch it when we do it, whenever that is. But that's my favorite Batman movie, Batman Begins. And Well, I guess it's an interesting thing to mention. You want to mention that real quick?
Where
it falls on your cool Batman tier list?
Well, the thing is, like, I haven't seen enough of the live-action Batman for it to even be, like, a good list. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Because it's, like, I started watching the Tim Burton one. I didn't really like it.
Fuck you.
And then I didn't watch, like... Well, I saw, like, Forever when I was a kid. That was a long-ass time ago, so I don't remember. But as far as, like, so it had to be, like, I didn't watch any of the Snyder movies either. So, like, really all I have is the Nolan movies and then this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So where does it fall against the Nolan movies?
Well, that's really hard to say. I'd have to rewatch them.
I feel like that's all people really care about anyway. They're like, oh, how does it stack up against the Nolan movies?
Well, yeah. Because that's, like, the only one that counts to people for whatever reason. I don't know why, because the Tim Burton ones are kind of respected, so... But
yeah.
Sometimes people don't talk about it.
It's like on some Indiana Jones shit. It's like your dad likes it.
Yeah,
like,
I guess so,
it's
yeah.
kind of like that.
I would say, still, at this point, I would say The Dark Knight is probably a better movie. And then Batman Begins has been a really long time since I've seen it, but it's probably better.
And Dylan likes it.
And I would say it's definitely better than The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's definitely better than The Dark Knight
I would agree with that.
So there you go. There's my...
Well, because you get a really fucking, like... I mean, even though there's some stuff I don't like about the third act, this version of the Riddler is way fucking cooler. And this version of Catwoman and this version of Penguin, they're all, like... And the version of Batman. Like, they're all really fucking entertaining and cool.
Yeah. I really
And, like Bane and Talia fucking suck in that movie.
Well, yeah,
especially towards the end. So it's like that's not even like tough for me. Like I'd much rather watch this movie 100 times over Rises. Even though Rises I like a little bit, but
it's not a bad movie. But I was saying that genuinely the ending sucks in Rises. Yeah. So
it sucks in a different way than kind of the third act in this movie.
Yeah. So.
Like it kind of. This movie falls off a little bit, but that movie, like, the ending is just bad.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the same to me.
And I think, what's worse? We can jump into a heavy spoiler right now. What's worse? The Robin thing or Joker at the end of this?
It's a good comparison.
Yeah.
It's a good comparison. What's worse? Probably Joker.
Yeah, probably.
Probably Joker.
Because it's just heavier than
me think.
The little name drop. So yes, the Joker is in this movie. For any of you who have not seen it.
Yeah, that's not a joke.
Yeah. But I guess we can talk about the little cool theory that maybe it's not Joker. We can talk about it later if you want.
Can we get into my cool evidence that I made up?
Oh yeah, we definitely can. But it's too soon to talk about that.
We'll
talk about it eventually.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for our fact-based evidence on the Joker theory. Okay? Cool.
But yeah, so you say Joker first?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, probably.
They both suck though.
Yeah, probably.
Some MCU bullshit.
But going back to the characters, though, do you want to just start talking about this Batman in general? How do you feel about him? Like I said, I like him quite a bit, but you tell me what you feel about.
Let me think about my interpretation of this Batman. Yeah. What are my thoughts on this Batman, Evan?
Tell me. You gotta tell me.
You tell me.
I can't read your mind.
No, I like it. It's very, it's even more Scott Snyder than I thought.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yeah, our cool predictions. Yeah,
I mean, it'd be fun to go back and listen to that video. I kind of maybe we should have before making this.
Some of it was on point, though. I remember thinking about it the other day.
We'll probably remember some of it.
Yeah.
Maybe while we're talking. But, it was even more Scott Snyder influence than I thought. Because literally there's, like, what happens in the third act is literally from... I bought it, actually. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
Today, Evan bought the McFarlane toy. I bought the Lego Batman, like the movie Batmobile from this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought...
Zero Year,
the Scott Snyder Batman story, and that's like has a good amount of influence on this movie. And I didn't even know that. Like when I was saying I felt Scott Snyder influences, I just meant like I don't know, like the costume, the music,
and the punk rock thing.
Because they call that Batman kind of, or like Kevin Smith did at least. He was like, oh, this is like the punk rock Batman.
Yeah. Well, Kevin Smith, his word is law. So
his word is law. Well, there's also like. Scott Snyder does a bunch of like punk and metal aesthetics and stuff like that, and this definitely feels like that. This movie, this Batman.
Yeah, definitely,
What I mean? But yeah, there's literally like a plot point from that. Like Riddler floods the city at the end of Zero Year. I don't know if you knew that, but
no, I didn't. I didn't know.
Yeah. Spoilers for Zero Year, but yeah, that one actually always interested me. I've only read Court of Owls, and I was a stupid fucking little teenager when I bought that, so I bought the second volume only.
Yeah.
Which is so stupid. I think there's 2 volumes of that particular like set that I bought. Anyways, the point is, Dylan was right about the Scott Snyder.
Yeah, you were.
And
Good call, Dylan.
I have liked that. My real point is, I love that about this version of the character.
Yeah.
The Robert Pattinson version. I'm not huge on Robert Pattinson's face.
He doesn't really look like Bruce Wayne. I would say Christian Bale definitely looked more like Bruce Wayne, like what you think Bruce Wayne looks like.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Robert Pattinson to me looks like a fucking English guy.
Well, he is.
Yeah.
Well, so is Christian Bale.
But he doesn't look like an English guy. He looks like a normal good guy.
A good old American.
He looks like a good person.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson. He's like pale. He's like pale British guy.
Eyes.
Yeah. But it worked for this Bruce Wayne, I think. Because this, like, people were saying, "Oh, emo Bruce Wayne," but it really was like emo Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of, and I like that a lot. So I would be upfront. I really liked like the withdrawn Bruce Wayne. I don't know. I really like that a lot, and it worked for me. It worked for me.
But I feel like there wasn't enough of it, I guess.
Well, yeah. So I guess we can mention that he really wasn't and this I would say kudos to him. He was in the suit for like 90% of the movie, if not more.
Yeah, and another thing too about his Batman and relating to what you're saying, like he was in the suit for most of the movie, and this is a common thing people have been saying, so it's nothing new. But his eye acting is fantastic.
Yes, it was. Yeah. It was, yeah. And I think the makeup choice actually did help like accentuate that. You know what I mean?
Someone mentioned on Twitter was, and I think it might be true, is the leather blends with the eye makeup a lot better than like Bale's mask, which is like matte black.
Yes.
But this being kind of like a shiny leather with kind of like the shiny leather.
Yeah.
Like not shiny leather, but the shinier like eye makeup, it blends.
It does, yeah. It was a good aesthetic choice.
Yeah. It looks great. And by the way, leather for the bat cowl is fucking awesome.
It was. This suit was really. I liked the suit a lot. It looked great.
That also reminds me of like Man Bat, like on leather wings. Bats have leather wings, I guess.
Do they really?
I guess it's called on leather wings. I don't know.
I didn't know that.
The Man Bat episode. That's the first fun fact. In production order, that is the first Batman the Animated Series episode.
Nice.
On leather wings.
Man Bat would be an interesting choice for a sequel.
It would.
Yeah.
I would like to see something like kind of horror-y again.
Yeah.
Because it had a mild horror aesthetic going on.
It wasn't a horror movie though. No.
The farthest thing from a horror movie you can find outside of like.
It was more like if you had to like stick it to another genre, I would say like noir, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, outside of like a superhero movie, you could call it a noir.
Yeah.
But, and not even on some MCU shit, like actually.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, because for those of you that might not shit on the MCU as much as me. They love to say like, "Oh, Winter Soldier's a political thriller. Fucking Eternals is a Bollywood movie." Like,
yeah.
You fucking dumbass.
You know what's funny? Did I read a review of that or Yeah. It was like I was reading a review and they actually like said something funny that it was like, oh, how it's like how Marvel says, oh, this Winter Soldier's a political thriller or Ant-Man's whatever.
Or like
they were
Doctor
like
Strange is psychedelic.
Yeah, something like they were like, no, this actually is like it actually does feel like a noir. I was like, oh. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
But it's just funny they said like the same thing.
Yeah,
like Marvel will be saying shit like that.
They will just say whatever they want.
Yeah.
Fucking Spider-Man's a John Hughes movie. Shut the fuck up. So what were we saying about the Batman? Batman's cool. The Batman's fire.
Well, yeah.
Oh, it's not like a horror movie, but there's some. And I was saying we were talking about the next villain, which is we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves, but that's okay. Or at least I'm getting ahead of myself by expanding on it. But I would love to see like someone you could still have kind of like a horror aesthetic, because it's not a horror movie like you said, but there's kind of
it definitely lends itself more to that.
There's a bit of a Saw that we talked about that. There's a bit of a Saw thing going on.
Yeah,
a very neutered Saw thing.
But yeah, which is part of my criticism of the movie, which we can get to.
Yeah.
After we talk about the characters, if you'd like.
Yeah, basically.
Or maybe when we talk about Riddler, we can get into that. Maybe.
Yeah. But something like Clayface, Hugo Strange. I don't want to see Scarecrow again, but. That's another.
He would work well for this world, but it's like Nolan did him pretty on point.
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy Scarecrow was epic.
I think you could have a Scarecrow movie. I think you could carry a movie.
Yeah, probably. But I just mean, like, in Batman Begins, Scarecrow was awesome.
He was.
Yeah.
He was great. But I think you really could do a whole movie where Scarecrow...
Yeah, without having the Ra's al Ghul thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because...
I agree.
He was kind of just like the muscle, in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he wasn't actually the muscle, but he was like...
He wasn't the main villain. He wasn't the mastermind.
He was kind of just like a pawn for Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
But I think, he could definitely carry his own movie. But yeah, like Hugo Strange, Scarecrow, or like I said, Man-Bat would be awesome. But anyways...
Don't want that Mr. Freeze. I really do want
Mr. Freeze would be fucking awesome. Yeah. But you said this earlier. They might do the New 52 Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, they made him like way too edgy. And that's not like why anyone likes Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
Literally everyone on the planet that likes Mr. Freeze likes him because of the animated series.
I was about to say, it's funny. I actually didn't learn till recently, like the famous Mr. Freeze backstory. It's actually from the animated series.
Yeah, Paul Dini made that up.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
before he was just like a gangster or something like that, or something.
He was literally just like fucking a robber with a freeze gun.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, and then Paul Dini gave him the cool backstory. I didn't know that. Yeah, and that's pretty much how the character is defined today.
Exactly,
which is interesting.
Yeah.
So the Batman the animated series has a lot more influence, I think, than people maybe give it credit for.
Because
like Harley Quinn was like made for that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is
Batman the animated series. I think it streamlined Batman for a lot of people and made it like digestible.
That's a good way to put it.
And it kind of, I feel like the public consciousness of Batman is like a lot of it stems from the animated series.
Yeah.
And plus the Arkham games are literally just the animated series. Well, I should say Arkham City and Arkham Asylum. They're heavily influenced by a lot of the same voice actors.
Well, Paul Dini wrote those.
Paul Dini wrote Asylum and City.
Yeah, so it makes sense.
And there's a bit of there's a bit of Arkham in the Batman. The bit of the animated series too. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
Gotham does not look like the animated series. But well, I guess it's more Arkham than the animated series, but it's like the Arkham series was basically the animated series, like, I don't know. You get what I'm saying? There's a through line.
Yeah.
There's a through line. And, Batman Epic. But I did want to talk about, Evan, about Gotham.
Wait, before we get into that.
You want to talk about something else?
No, I wanted to keep talking about Batman himself.
Oh, sure.
But like I was saying earlier, I'm
sorry, I've been fucking leading us in random directions.
Oh, no, it's okay. I forgot what I was saying anyway.
No, you're talking about you want to go back to Batman.
Yeah, no, I forgot what I was saying about him. I think the last thing I was saying was about Bruce Wayne. I really liked the reclusive Bruce Wayne. I don't know, it worked for me. And I feel like, well, we already seen like Playboy Bruce Wayne a million times, so I did like that take on him. I don't know, kind of, and I feel like a lot, we talked about this in the predictions video, but, or whatever you want to call that, speculating, discussion, whatever. I feel like they did do a good job of playing, like, the trauma in this. Like, you can tell he's, like, kind of scarred or whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a little bit cringe. Even though I fuck with it, even though it's cringe, I still fuck with it a bit. Like, when she's like, oh, are you hideously scarred under there? And he's like, yeah. Like, it's, like, overly edgy, of course, but you know me, I love overly edgy shit, so.
I think that was just a joke. I don't think that was...
No, I disagree. I think it was supposed to be like, yeah, I'm scarred, but obviously she meant in like
I don't think that's what he meant. But
I think so, because at the end he says I'm scarred in his
monologue.
Yeah, at the end.
Oh, maybe he did mean it.
Yeah, I definitely personally I would definitely say that's
just I guess the way it got a laugh in our first screening. I was like, oh, I guess.
Well, it's like kind of funny, but I think there's something there though.
Interesting.
That's what I think.
There's two layers to the Batman.
Yeah.
For me, I didn't really cringe at that, but I also didn't interpret it that way, so maybe that's why I didn't cringe at it. But the monologues, especially the second one, was pretty cringe to me.
Yeah, the first one I liked a lot. When Something in the Way of Playing.
The first
I liked that a
one...
lot. I guess it's a good thing to talk about when we're talking about Batman also. I think, is this the first movie where he's had narration?
Yes.
I like that. Personally, the diary was cool.
It works. It's very Frank Miller.
Yeah, it is.
It's because he, not even just in Batman, but he does that in like Sin City and shit.
Yeah.
And it's very Frank Miller.
Kind of like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
The narration, yeah. Because that's not usually narration's usually a Spider-Man thing.
Narration's not even in general in movies that much.
Yeah. At least not nowadays.
Yeah.
But it's funny though, talking about the noir thing. That is a noir thing though. I don't know if that was like the idea, but like narration from the main character is a big thing in noir. It's like voiceover narration. So
that's probably deliberate, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Nice catch.
I learned that from my cool noir class I took in college.
That's badass. Yeah. That sounds fun.
It was a cool class.
That sounds fun. You had a Western class too, right?
I did.
Evan, can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Were there any Western elements?
Yes, there was. It's funny. At the very end.
As what?
At the very end, where he rides off to be alone.
Oh.
Classic Western trope. Classic Western ending.
Trope.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. See,
he can't be with the cool woman because he's too bound to his duty.
This dude has that college education.
I was saying that's a classic Western trope.
We see you, buddy. We see.
It's funny. I was actually literally thinking about that today, so it's funny you asked that.
Very interesting. So yeah, you have any more thoughts about Batman? I did want to mention that Frank Miller narration thing, so I'm glad we mentioned that.
Yeah, and also like I said, I mentioned this earlier. I think this Batman was like kind of like, I mean, I'm not like, oh, he was so terrifying, I've shaved my pants, but just in general, he felt like scarier. Like I felt like they made him more menacing.
Yeah.
Than like the Bale Batman.
I don't know. Do you think that? I think part of it too is like and of course, I do think Robert Pattinson's a talented. He's a good actor, but I also think part of it has to do with the design.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I 100% agree. But like when he walked out of the shadows in that first scene, it just looked so fucking cool.
So we should maybe talk about that a little more in detail because I loved the first fucking part of the movie.
Yeah, so he has like an introduction scene. And it's fucking great. It's like amazing. It was perfect.
One thing I didn't like about that though, and this kind of ties into our kind of at least for me, like specifically, I don't really like the second half as much. I know you kind of agree with that, but I feel like it's kind of a more me thing. I don't know.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, because you said you liked it more upon second viewing. Do you still agree that you don't like the second half as much, or are you kind of on the other side now? Or
well, there are parts of the second half I really don't like, but
well, you can tell me what you think about this.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. I felt like that should have paid off because that was such a very like deliberate. I don't know the word, like concise opening.
Yeah.
And then
were you talking about fear and all that?
I feel like it didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah. I agree. In general, I feel like one of the weaker parts of this movie is that it's not very concise with its themes.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff doesn't come full circle, so I agree with you. Yeah, kind of.
But just that scene on its own is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it is.
It and I mentioned Frank Miller. That felt like a Batman comic moment.
Yeah.
Like, the whole, like I am the shadows shit.
Yeah.
Which, that kind of, it's kind of like in Dark Knight Rises.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? Like when Bane says, like, you adopted the shadows.
Yes.
It's like that.
Yeah.
It's like this Batman already beat Bane or something. Like,
yeah.
Or whatever.
It kind of reminded me of back to the Arkham games, the end of Arkham Knight. In one of our early episodes we talked about how I interpreted the ending of Arkham Knight, where it's like, yeah, I was like, because people theorize about what the ending of Arkham Knight means, and for me, I felt like it was like the
legend is taking over the person.
Yeah. Where it's like even if he's gone, people are still scared of the criminals are still scared of the shadows. It's like he's always there. And that's what it kind of reminded me of. Where it's like, a lot of the villains, like the criminals or whatever at the beginning of the movie, like they just, like, they had to, like, stop and look. You know what I mean?
That's the best representation of that I've seen, like, in a movie.
Yeah.
Of that kind of, and like we said, it's like a very deliberate scene of, like, the criminals, like, fear him.
Yeah,
and it's, like, very deliberate. But that, like I said, that does not pay off. Maybe it will in the sequel.
Yeah.
But, it's interesting, too, because I wanted to compare this real quick, if you don't mind, Evan. To Sam Raimi's Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Do you mind that?
Oh, go ahead. No, don't. No, go ahead.
No, the opening of this movie reminds me of Spider-Man 2. Like, it feels fucking
You know what's funny?
perfect.
I was going to say, I was literally just thinking the same thing.
Like, it just hits and hits and hits until it stops hitting, but that's okay. But just, it's so fucking, I don't know, there's like, there's no filler in the first part. Like, it just fucking keeps going.
Yeah, definitely.
And another thing I wanted to mention is it reminds me of like maybe that element of the movie, because there's no payoff, right? Like that's kind of a factor in the whole movie.
Well, maybe it does pay off a little bit. We can get into the ending later.
Well, I wanted to
maybe a little bit.
I kind of was ready to mention that now, if you don't mind.
Oh, go ahead.
Do you mind if I mention it?
Well, go ahead.
Well, because at the end of the movie, he's like, I don't want to be vengeance anymore. And we'll
I was going to say, maybe you could tie those things together.
We'll talk about that more at the end.
Yeah.
But maybe there will be an element of the criminals in the sequel are less scared of him, and he's in more danger as a result.
Maybe.
But that kind of reminds me of Spider-Man 1. You can go listen for yourself in our Spider-Man videos. But we kind of talk about how in Spider-Man 1, there's kind of an unresolved thread that is pretty much the whole Spider-Man 2 movie.
Yeah.
And I feel like it could wind up being like that, maybe?
Possibly.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, maybe.
But anyways, let's rewind it back to what were you talking about? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just, like I said, I was just like how like menacing they made him feel in this, and
yeah,
that scene where he beats the goons up for the first time was fucking amazing. It was great, and also I liked how it was like a little bit goofy. How he just walks out of the shadows. I don't know. Maybe I felt like it was intentional. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's like this fucking dude in this suit walks out, and the way they react also, they're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. I don't think it was necessarily supposed to be goofy, but they did play it like. Well, I don't know how to put this. They play it straight.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like what you're saying. It's like here the fuck I am. And
yeah.
Like, hey, you idiot. Like, yeah. So yeah, I get what you mean. But it's also like the way they set it up is like it almost feels lazy.
Well, what do you mean?
The way they do some of the Batman reveals and transitions, and like he's like, I am the shadows, and they literally cast a giant shadow in the corner, and like he just walks out of it. Like it's not like he's really good at hiding. It's just like it's like kind of a literal interpretation of it. They never go out of their way to show him like, oh, I was like they don't show you the process of how he would even go about hiding in places or anything like that.
That doesn't really bother me, though. I kind of like that.
Me either. It doesn't bother me either. But they play it so straight that it's like he didn't crouch out from something. He just walks out of a big fucking vacuum of shadow, of darkness. But yeah, interesting choice. It looked good.
Yeah, and like you said, just the way the movie shot.
Beautiful movie.
It really, it lent to that.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't solely just him, like, his acting, where it's part of that. It's how the movie shot, because it's like it actually is like a very dark movie, and most of it takes place at night.
Yeah, it's really fucking funny because later on we might get to this. There's a Riddler room, a Riddler, Lee Harvey Oswald book exchange. What is it called? The JFK shooter basically is what I'm talking about. The Grassy Knolls, that's what they call it, right? The Texas Book Depository.
I have no fucking clue.
Basically, yeah, the shooter room.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, the point is, there's no lights in there, and when the police are going through like Riddler shit, they're literally looking through the books with flashlights. Like, they just didn't want to have a light in that room.
Yeah,
like
it's that's more like fucking classic noir shit, where it's just like
it's a stylistic.
Yeah,
of course. But that's the one time in the movie where I was like, what the fuck?
It's a little like. It's a stretch.
Like it like points to the fact that they like we don't want lights in any room.
It's definitely a stretch. Yeah. But I don't know. Anything else you got to say about Batman or Bruce Wayne? Just the character himself in this movie.
Just the character himself. I really like one of my favorite parts, and it's like you said. There's not a lot of Bruce Wayne like solo like it's through Batman.
Yeah.
But I love the first part. Where, like we were saying, there's that cool scene where they set up, like, he is the Knight, he is Vengeance, he's Batman, okay, and then he goes home, he takes out his cool camera eye contact lens.
That was cool, I did like it.
I did like that as a cool thing, that we could talk about that later, some of the gadgets he uses and things like that, Evan.
Yeah.
But
they're a bit more restrained in this. It was still wild, but it wasn't like too
realistic.
crazy. Yeah.
Pretty realistic, but yeah, he takes out the camera. That's the wildest thing.
Definitely. I would agree.
Is like the camera eye contact lens, and he puts that on his like USB. He flicks it on his USB reader or whatever, and
he flicked it like that.
he flicks it off, and then So I love the way that whole scene looks. It just looks like. I think that like the body language in that part lends to like an edgy kid like on a computer. Like, he's, like, hunched over, and he's, like, greasy hair, and he's, like, fucking toiling away.
Well, I fucked with the emo Bruce Wayne. I really did. I liked it a lot.
That's how you look when you're editing our podcast. And he's, like, scrubbing through the footage, and that's great. That's great.
Yeah. I liked when, like, there's also a scene where the only scene where you really see him in, like, public during the funeral.
Right.
And you see that he's, like, visibly, like, uncomfortable when they're like, Bruce Wayne. You remember? Yeah, I don't know. I liked reclusive Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Cool.
I enjoyed it as well.
Interesting take.
His hair was a bit long, but that's alright.
Yeah, it was.
It was a bit long.
He really looked, in that scene specifically, he looked like an early 2000s, like, emo band haircut. He really had that haircut.
Yeah, like, if you told me that was Gerard Way, I would be like, I guess. Like, sure. Looks like that might be him. Gerard Way is going to get an ego boost off me saying that. He is, yeah. But anyways, yeah, I like Bruce Wayne in this. They went a little hard in the paint on the emo stuff, but that's okay.
They did.
But that's alright. I liked it. Like you said, you might as well change it up. We had kind of similar Batmans for a long time, or Bruce Waynes, I should say, really. Because I would say his Batman, like his actual Batman, isn't too different from all the other Batmans. Mm-hmm. But you kind of, there's a man underneath. And what is that man like, Evan? He's emo.
Yeah. So. I think, well, like I said, they went a little heavy on it. But just in general, this whole movie, I think, with way more style over substance. Yeah. You would agree, right?
I would agree with that. Yeah.
I'd say the Nolan movies they're more substantive, I think.
Me too.
Than this was.
Especially Batman Begins is pretty fucking tight.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, not as in like a cool 2005 slang, but it's like tightly written. Yeah. Very tightly written. This movie, not so much.
Yeah. And
I think that's why also it falls off for me a little bit in the second half is because you start to lose that style a little bit.
Yeah, definitely, because they focus more on the writing and then it's not great.
The exposition and the big climax.
The mystery.
And you kind of lose the style.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So they probably should just went. Yeah. Kept the direction they were going.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
But anyways, that's how I feel about it. Do you want to talk about Catwoman?
Yes.
In this movie?
I do.
She was awesome.
She's great.
Zoe Kravitz was great.
Zoe Kravitz, first of all, talented actress.
She was. Can we talk about how we watched Kimmy?
Wonderful actress.
Before we saw sexy? She is sexy. Super. Sinister villain. No, she wasn't sinister.
She was a sinister villainess.
Back to the predictions video.
What?
What's his name? Tom King?
Yeah.
You were pretty accurate about that.
Yeah,
They definitely did lean in that direction, but I don't think it was bad though. It was funny. We were like, we don't know if they should be friends, but it worked. I liked it a lot.
Well, the thing is, what I didn't want was the relationship bullshit, and they didn't do that.
Yeah, but she wasn't like for the most part, she was not evil in this movie.
No,
and they were like pretty much on the same side.
I thought it was actually really clever. Sorry about my watch going off. The throw you over there.
That's how I knew the Batman was a long movie. When I heard Dylan's watch go off like 3 times, yeah. For real, yeah.
That's funny, man. Yeah, I don't know how to turn that off. My G-Shock beeps.
Mine doesn't beep. Mine
beeps every hour. I don't know why, but...
Me and Dylan both have cool black G-Shocks.
We do. We are very cold. We always synchronize them. We're always synchronizing them.
Yeah, with the one we light up.
And so... No, but I wanted to talk about Catwoman, Evan.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to mention about Catwoman is I thought her introduction was good.
Yes. The first scene where they worked together was amazing. We both liked it a lot.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
But I wanted to mention, like, it was... They did a good job of setting her up and also not having her be, like... Because the typical Catwoman would be... Alfred's like, oh, Master Wayne, there's a fucking Catwoman stealing a diamond at the museum. And Batman's like, oh, shit. And then he's like,
you sounded just like Batman.
Thank you. And he's like, dumb bitch, you fucking sexy. I wanted to sound unlike Batman when I did the next part.
Well, it worked. It didn't sound like him. Yeah.
That sounded like the Batman cartoon Joker. Yeah. That's what that sounded like.
So awesome.
The point is, they didn't go with like the typical Catwoman, and I think by changing her, like, I don't know if you don't call it an origin, but like by changing the way that she's introduced to Batman, I think you made it more believable that they would work together in some way, because it feels like she's more like a person that Batman happened to find involved with this case that could help him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and she wasn't just like, at least that we saw in this. Maybe she'll become more of a like big time thief in the later movies, who knows. But in this it was like the people she was stealing from or what she was stealing, it's like she had a personal motive for doing it.
Yeah.
So, like you said, it kind of works with that. She wasn't like evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I feel like I said too, the not just making her like feel believable as like she would be working with Batman in this context, but also
Oh, you good?
I kind of lost my train of thought. But the point is, it was clever the way that they set her up and introduced her. Yeah, because, like, for example, in fucking Batman, the fucking Dark Knight Rises, she's just stealing stuff.
Anne Hathaway was not a great Catwoman.
She's just stealing
She
stuff.
was cool, but it was not great.
And then she starts working with Batman.
Yeah, it's lazy.
Because they're both white people that wear black. And that's it.
Yeah, it was lazy.
Stupid.
It was.
And then, in the Dark Knight... sorry, not the Dark Knight. In Batman Returns, Catwoman is a monster. So it's, like... This is definitely the best Catwoman we've had.
Yeah, she was great.
And I'm not even going to mention Halle Berry. Eartha Kitt's cool. Like, all the 66 people are cool, but they're not, like, you know, serious or anything. But,
yeah.
But yeah, this version felt super, like... It felt comic book accurate, but a little more realistic. And, like, supernatural. Supernatural, the way she kind of becomes a little more superhero-y kind of in the process.
Yeah, because they have at least similar motives.
Yeah.
And then we end up finding out they were both wronged by the same person.
Right.
Falcone.
And
which is an interesting connection between them.
I really like the moment where the car chase is about to start.
Yeah.
And then, you know what I'm talking about? She grabs the money. Right, like she just has the chance to grab some of the money. Yeah,
like I said, so she is like stealing money in some parts of the movie, but as we find out, she's stealing it from Falcone, who she feels owes her, because we find out, it's her father.
Right.
How'd you feel about that? Carmine Falcone being her father.
Yeah, all the so I think this we can open this up into a broader discussion.
Yeah.
The twists in this movie all suck.
So you didn't like it that he was.
Well, it's less that the twist itself sucks, and more of like I just know that. Like,
well,
that's from The Long Halloween.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I mean I think so.
I have no idea. I didn't read it.
I might be brainwashed by Grace Randolph or something, but I think or the animated movie. It's at least I think it's in the animated movie. I don't know. Yeah, it's from The Long Halloween.
I really don't know.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know.
It is. So that wasn't really a twist to me. And also, or she's like an like the same thing, like an illegitimate daughter. I can't remember if she's doing the same thing. She might even be doing the same thing, where she's like, "Oh, he owes me. I'm stealing stuff from him." I think that might be right. But and there's also something else.
She was also a bit year one-ish.
Very year one.
Yeah. Which I have read, so I was like, it did remind me of that.
The fucking, and that's more Frank Miller because you have the narration. And then just, like, Catwoman's look in general, and also, like, the look of Gotham.
And the fact that she was, like, living in the apartment with the other lady.
Yeah.
That was also, like, year one.
I did realize that is technically a different character, but...
It wasn't the same character, no.
I think it's because they
just in general, though, that...
I think they didn't want to imply she was a minor. Because she's a minor. Well,
she was in year one, she was, right.
In the year one comic book, she's a minor, but in this, it's a different name, and I think it's supposed to be an adult, so... But yeah, that is weird though, because we talked about that, because I was like, oh, did they kiss? I don't remember, because later she's like, she's just a kid, like...
Yeah, I don't think they had a romantic relationship, but she did call her, like, baby. And
no,
then,
but
like...
Zoe Kravitz did say, like, in an interview, she was like, oh, I wanted Catwoman to be bisexual and stuff, but we didn't really, like...
Well, yeah, as you see in the movie, she does start having a romantic thing with Batman, so it's like... She's not lesbian, but maybe she's bisexual, we don't really know.
Yeah, so I think maybe she... did have something going on with that girl.
But like you said, there's that line, though, that makes me think not. She's like, oh, she's just a kid. That's not really something you would say about, like...
Your love interest.
Yeah, it's like someone you're taking care of. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's weird. I don't know. I really don't know.
Maybe WB made her say that. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, who knows?
But it could be like, oh, like she's just like, maybe she's just like a teen. She's like 19. She's like, oh, she's just a kid. But then, like, how old are you, Catwoman? Why are you calling this bitch a kid? Like, she's fucking almost 20. I don't know. Anyways, Catwoman was fantastic.
Yeah, she was.
She was great.
I liked her cool little whip.
And that's another, we should, as we go, we can mention some Arkham influence. Mm-hmm. You know, that, there's one part where she whips, I think, under a car.
Around the guy's feet?
Whips, yeah.
And was it one of the twins?
Maybe.
Who are possibly Tweedledum and Tweedledee. Maybe.
Oh, yeah, that as well.
Yeah.
That was a cool reference, right? So, yeah, that was a cool, like, I think that might have been intentional as an Arkham thing, but it's also something Catwoman just does, like, whip people and trip them and stuff, so that felt Arkham to me. That was pretty cool. And that whole scene was awesome. But you want to go through...
Oh, her mask was awesome also.
Oh, her mask looked great. I think all the characters look pretty good, except maybe Riddler, you could say. Maybe.
I actually did like Riddler's look.
I like his look, but I think he has the weakest look.
Probably.
I think Catwoman and Penguin look great.
He looked really cool in the McFarlane
Batman
figure.
Looks great.
I actually do
Does
fuck
he?
with the Riddler figure
Does
a lot.
he?
Yeah, I like how he looks.
I'll have to take a look at him one day.
I like how he gets the plastic around his head.
Oh, does he?
Like, he wears the mask, and then he has, like, the saran wrap
I think
around
I
the
read
rest of
somewhere
his
that
head.
Paul Dano, like, insisted on that.
Yeah, it was his idea,
Did
apparently.
you read that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Interesting
Cool Paul
stuff.
Dano.
Yeah, the iconic Riddler opening the tape.
Yeah.
I love that. From the first trailer.
Yeah.
It's great, fantastic, iconic stuff.
Should we talk about Riddler?
No.
No?
I did want to say, I like her mask too.
Oh, yeah, her mask was awesome.
Because it's like, I mentioned this to you before, but I like how it's like super subtle cat ears.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You could almost see that as being like just a scheme, like it happened
Yeah,
to pop up like that or not. Like maybe it's like a gimmick mask with like a novelty ears. I don't know, but yeah, great design for her. And then,
the way she fought was also really cool.
And I want to. Oh, she. It was really cool to me that her and Batman had pretty distinct fighting styles. Like they fought a lot differently, and it might be a stretch to chalk it up to the Arkham series, but she has like a very acrobatic fighting style. So maybe I'm giving the Arkham games too much credit, but it felt like that.
Yeah, the first scene when they fight each other was cool.
Yeah.
I liked it, even though most of it was in the trailer because it's really quick.
Yeah, it's a very small fight.
Yeah,
it was interesting to me too because that's the most Catwoman kind of moment that you get in the movie where she's like stealing something. Like she rappels down a skylight and then like cracks a safe open, which is a great part.
Yeah.
And then Batman like scares her. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Funny moment, cool moment. And then like you said, they have a fight, but it's interesting to me that the most Catwoman kind of stealing moment in the movie are really the only one. She's stealing like someone's passport back for them.
Yeah,
like she's not stealing
the girl she's living with.
Yeah,
I think her name was Annika.
Annika, yeah. I thought that was an interesting choice. Like we were saying, like it's all personal shit that she's stealing. Like she kind of elevates it to like stealing actual just money later.
Yeah, but like we said, it's like with a reason because she feels like Falcone owes her, and also dirty money. It's not like not like she's stealing from a bank. You know what I mean?
So that was interesting. And then Batman had to break her spine on a table because she was trying to get her passport back for her friend from the mob.
Yeah, he like grabs the fucking shit. I actually like that scene a lot too where he's like, you're gonna help me. Some of their early interactions are like really funny.
I agree with that. And there's another big laugh. Do you want to mention that?
Yeah. When they're first working together, he gets her to go into like the club.
Amazing scene.
He's like telling her what to do and shit. And then she sees someone who knows about, like, she mentions, like, this Russian girl who went missing. So, yeah, the girl goes missing, who she's, like, working with is part of the story.
Basically her roommate.
Her roommate. She, like, goes missing. And then she hears one of the girls in the club that, like, Batman's, like, stalking. Is that a good way to put it? Stalking? I don't know why I said that. Investigating, whatever the fuck. He's stalking it. He's like, she uses the eye contact lens
that he used later.
Yeah,
or earlier.
And he's like watching through her because she can get inside because she works there or whatever. And she's like going through looking at people, and we see it's like police, the DA, etc.
Yeah, Batman's basically like he's getting positive IDs on like a bunch of important political figures that are in this. Like basically, he learns that like they're all compromised. They're all like in this mobster's basement.
Because early on, the mayor gets killed and. There's a picture of the mayor walking out of the club the night before he died with that girl. Yeah. So it's like all connected or whatever.
But the thing is, Catwoman is like kind of playing along. She's doing what Batman says, and then she hears someone talk about her missing friend. Yeah. So she goes and pursues that.
And he's like, "What are you going? Go talk to the DA because he's trying to find out about like the rat or whatever."
Yeah. He's trying to figure out the Riddler thing, but just it's funny because you laughed pretty hard both times when Batman's like, "No!"
Oh yeah, because they get into an argument in the bathroom because she ends up talking to Falcone, and at that point he thinks like, they have some kind of relationship with each other. He doesn't know yet that it's her father, And she goes in there. He's like, "Oh, you were pretty comfortable." Like he was being a dick for no. He really was being a dick there for no reason.
Yeah, he was like, "What does a girl like you?"
Yeah, which also I did like the Batman. Like they go a few times to kind of show, oh, he's kind of an asshole. Which is like I don't like that they painted him 100% positively. Like it felt more human. You know what I mean? That's like sometimes like he goes a little too far.
Yeah.
With like the whole like trying to be above, I guess. Maybe that's the way to put it. And she's like, yeah, I don't have a relationship with him. And he's like, oh, it's not what it looked like to me or whatever. And then I forgot exactly what they say to each other. But she's like, fuck you, basically, and taking the eyes. He's like, no. He's like, no. It was funny.
Because he's...
And yeah, just kind of going off that, all the characters in this feel like pretty human, I would say.
I agree.
Yeah, which I really liked a lot.
Penguin, I loved Penguin. Well, do you want to get into Penguin or do you want to talk about Catwoman more? You're good? Well, let's talk about Penguin first, and we'll save Riddler's a chunky slice of meat. We'll get to him after. We'll get to him last.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Penguin. One thing, and the first time you ever see Penguin is, well, you get to see the Iceberg Lounge, which first of all, that's fucking awesome.
It is.
We've never seen that in the movies before.
This might be a good time to talk about Gotham while you bring that up.
Okay, sure.
If you want.
Well, I did what I mentioned. I think I didn't quite finish my thought earlier about, like the year one aspect, like Catwoman's apartment. Her friend is very similar to her friend in the comic, and as well, like the area she lives in. Not all of Gotham looks like it, but a lot of it is like fucking bathed in neon, that type of shit. Very year one, because year one has like entire pages where the entire page is blue, the entire page is red. Shit like that. It's very much like that. It's very beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful movie, beautiful city.
It is.
Even though we want it to be washed clean, don't we?
Huh?
We want it to be washed clean, right?
What do you mean?
The city.
Oh, Riddler wants to be washed clean. I was like, what is this man saying?
It's beautiful, yet we want to wash it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I agree. Shout out to I think his name is like Greg, or I don't know how you say it.
Greg Capullo?
No, not Greg Capullo. Greg Fraser, the cinematographer.
Oh,
he did the cinematography for Dune as well.
Oh, right.
Shout out to him. He's awesome.
Yeah, seriously. And one thing I wanted to say too is they could have gotten really lazy on that.
Yeah.
On the whole Gotham thing, but they didn't. Like you see, there's whole scenes of like them on the bikes or the Batmobile and shit, and it looks consistent. Like it still looks like the stylized Gotham that they set up.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, for the most part, sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes it's in like the bigger city areas, and sometimes it's in like a smaller, tighter corners and stuff like that. But huge props to keeping up that consistent look.
Yeah.
Because that's not easy.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why in both Nolan movies they just said fuck it. Like the second ones, they were just like fuck it.
It's Chicago.
Just Chicago. So mercy me, mercy Alago.
Yeah.
So
pretty much.
So
cool Kanye reference for you.
So I just wanted to say that's a lot of effort, and that's really fucking cool, and it looked great. So
yeah, definitely.
You have any more thoughts about that?
Yeah, it was like you said. It felt like its own thing.
Gotham is a character.
Yeah, and that's so it wasn't like oh, he's just in a New York or Chicago renamed Gotham. It like really did feel like its own thing. So much love to Matt Reeves and Greg Fraser for making that happen. Yeah. But yeah, the Iceberg Lounge. That's the reason I brought it up, because like it's a part of Gotham. It's part of this.
That's
whole
very
aesthetic.
Very iconic Batman location.
Yeah.
That we've never seen in the movies before. And this Penguin is unlike the previous live action Penguin, which was also a monster.
Danny DeVito.
Not unlike and it's I wanted to mention this too.
Not unlike Catwoman.
Not unlike Catwoman. That's what I was gonna say. Is like the previous version of Catwoman and Penguin, they're literally monsters.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Batman Returns, literally Penguin is like Killer Croc, and Catwoman is like a fucking zombie person.
Yeah.
She dies and is resurrected by cats, and then she comes back crazy. And like with superpowers.
Yeah.
So it was cool that this movie was like, well, no, we're gonna give you real Catwoman and real Penguin.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's kind of like what they did with Spider-Man, with MCU Spider-Man. They were like, we're gonna give you, well, not with the third one, but with MCU Spider-Man, like they were like, we'll do two villains we never did before. But this movie is like, we'll give you ones that you didn't get recently.
Yeah.
Like, well, I guess Dark Knight Rises. My fucking point is, they took two characters that weren't done so well in live action, or three really. Three characters that weren't.
Jim Carrey Riddler epic.
Oh, well, I meant.
You meant Joker.
Joker. I meant Joker.
Yeah, Heath Ledger Joker sucks.
Goodness me. You know what? I agree. Someone leave a comment.
Yeah, do it.
Tell us where we're wrong.
Do it.
Write an essay about Heath Ledger Joker in the comments. Anywho.
But yeah, Penguin. He was awesome. He was fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is it's complete opposite, complete like straight laced like version of the character. He's never really respected, but you know he's like a successful but not respected, I guess.
Yeah, he's like in this at least. In this movie, he's like a glorified goon. He's not like the kingpin or whatever.
No, yeah, it's just kind of like his.
He owns the club, and he's like a goon.
It happens that I feel like, I would almost imagine that it's like, he's kind of already a sleazy guy. He buys a club, and then since he doesn't give a shit, like the criminals all just go there.
Yeah,
because he's already like, well, they let the shit slide, so we'll just go do drugs there.
Yeah,
and it kind of became like that.
And he works. I guess he works under Falcone, right?
Yeah. I feel like just because he had the club, maybe he fell in with those people. Maybe.
Yeah. I feel like and he's probably not like fully respected because we do have that one interaction with him and Falcone before Falcone dies later, where he's like, oh Oz, you're a fucking like whatever. He's like, oh, like I forgot what he says. Basically, that he's like a joke. Basically, I don't remember 100% what he said.
I kind of want to talk about that part because I don't get it.
Well, which part of it?
So for context, I guess this is towards the end of the movie. Falcone, the crime boss, is being arrested and he's being walked out of the club, right? Mm-hmm. Of Penguin's club.
Yeah.
And then Penguin walks out, and there's like 100 cops.
Yeah.
There's like 100 cops that are arresting the crime boss Falcone, and then Penguin walks out after them, and he's like, "You motherfucker, I never liked you."
Yeah.
And then he starts drawing his gun.
Yeah.
In front of like 100 cops. And
I think he got pissed off though. He like got pissed because Falcone like called him a bitch or whatever.
But it's like, there's 100 cops.
Yeah, I don't fucking know.
It doesn't make sense to me. So I feel like that, like, maybe if I saw it again, I could think of it as like, oh, I wonder if there's like a different way of interpreting this. Like, was that like rehearsed or something? Was that like?
No, I don't think so. There's no way.
Were they trying to?
I think it would like he was just pissed off and he didn't give a shit in that moment.
I guess.
I think that's all it was.
I guess.
Like you said, it wasn't a smart decision, but I think that's all you can really chalk it up to. At least for me, it does.
For me, when I first saw it, and I kind of still think this way, but I'm like, it still doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But I feel like like you were saying, it's style over substance.
Yeah.
And I feel like you can kind of, it's like style, and also there's a lot of emphasis on, like, I think, like tension.
Yes.
Like
it's funny Joey said that. He said like, oh, he felt like the whole movie was very tense.
Yeah, it's like suspense and tension is like pretty big, and I feel like sometimes they don't care about the logic as much as just like when when they're seeing this in the theater for the first time, like how is this going to affect that person? Yeah, like it's kind of like a Alfred Hitchcock type of thing.
Yeah, you know I agree. Yeah,
like it's like we just care about getting that feeling from you.
Yes,
that's kind of I guess throughout the whole movie. So I feel like there's some choices like that with Penguin where it's like, why the fuck would he do this? But it's just to make you think like, oh, like, what's gonna happen? And it's like, oh, someone else shot him. Yeah. So I guess that's what I chalk it up to. But that part is just kind of confusing to me. But
in that way, I guess it's a bit horror-esque. Just in that the movie's more focused on getting like a visceral reaction out of you than it is on like the logic you think.
I don't think people haven't really talked about it that much, but I think that's part of why it's affecting people a lot. Like people are like, oh, it's really awesome. I feel like that's why. Yeah. Because a lot of movies these days don't do that.
No.
Yeah, that's the first movie in a while, at least like a big blockbuster, where it's like very deliberate, like peaks and valleys and like tension and shit. Yeah. Like the fucking car chase.
Oh, it's fucking awesome.
That is like seeing that.
Talking about Penguin, when he's chasing Penguin through.
Oh yeah, because we can wind it back to Penguin and talk about that.
No, I'm saying.
Yeah, he's in that car chase, of course. But fucking.
It was awesome, yeah.
And I was gonna say too, the first night we saw it, Wednesday, was in Dolby.
Yeah.
I don't really like Dolby, but in that car chase specifically, the way the fucking sound was like shaking the room was fucking incredible.
It was.
And that scene was so. Like, what's the word? I don't know. It held my attention like a motherfucker. Like, it was...
It had you on the edge of your seat.
It did. That's the most edged of my seat I've been.
Like people say that as like, it's like one of those fucking shit that they always say. Like they put it on the DVD cover. Yeah. And that I feel that seems like inaccurate. Like you know what I mean? You're like, oh shit.
And it's just it was like a mix of things too, because I never. It's rare. It's very rare that I get that feeling. In a movie.
Yeah.
But I think it was a mixture too of like the first night I saw it, plus it was Dolby, and like the sound and everything, and plus everything up to that point was really fucking good.
Yeah.
So it was like that was like gripping.
Yes, definitely. Great scene.
But I did want to talk, Evan, about the Penguin's introduction because I've been rambling about the fucking Penguin. I'm sorry.
No.
But
that's what we do on RNS Podcast.
I really, really like the in the first part where you meet the Penguin
in the club.
Of course, you see classic Tweedledee and Tweedledum, but we'll scoot on past them. Batman initiates like a fucking fight.
Yeah.
And he's like punching people, and then people start taking out guns. Batman starts impaling people with his grappling hook and shit.
The grappling gun was awesome.
And then one thing, yeah, we can get that in a second. Yeah. But I just wanted to say I love the way Penguin comes out and he's like, "Hey, easy!" Like he's just like de-escalates.
Yeah,
I love that.
It was.
I love that because it's bad for business.
It is. Yeah.
I love that. That was fantastic.
They really had the New Jersey Italian mobster thing. They had that shit. They had that shit on point. He was awesome in it.
Sweetheart.
Yeah,
I love that.
And then obviously what everyone's been talking about, but like the makeup, prosthetics, everything. You couldn't even tell it was Colin Farrell. It was
It's amazing. Great performance too. His voice was good.
Yeah, really, seriously. It sounded nothing like
him. And the physicality too, of course.
Yeah, like I said, I know everybody's been saying this, but it's really like if nobody had told me that, I don't think I would know it was fucking Colin Farrell.
I definitely would not fucking know. I'd be like, who's that guy?
Yeah. Yeah, seriously.
His weird face, he should get more work. You know? Interesting face.
Yeah, so
he should be the next Kingpin. If that was a real guy and not Colin Farrell, people would be like, that should be Kingpin. Kingpin.
Yeah, he was that was all great.
Fantastic.
That was all great, yeah.
Fantastic. And you want to know a cool Easter egg that only Dylan noticed?
Yeah.
Okay? Only Dylan noticed this. RNS Podcast 2022. Penguin waddles.
Does he?
Get it? Because he's shackled in his hands and his feet.
Oh, yeah, he does.
He has to waddle.
He does.
Yeah. Dylan reference that only Dylan noticed. Write it down.
That must have been intentional, right?
I think so.
Yeah. I didn't think about that. Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, Dylan's a genius.
You are.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I never disagreed.
All right. Any more thoughts about the Penguin?
The very ending, I guess that was like a little bit on the nose. You remember how you mentioned the narration wasn't great at the end?
Yeah.
Where he's like, someone will rise up after the trouble or whatever. You literally get a shot of, well, like, gonna use what's been happening to their advantage to, like, rise up or whatever. And they literally just show a shot of Penguin
thing. Just staring.
Yeah, so it's like, okay. And Dylan mentioned this. It was funny. You're like, when you're like, that's exactly where the Penguin show's gonna start. It could be him, like, walking out.
Yeah, I mentioned that too because literally in Peacemaker, it's like Peacemaker. It's like the end of the movie. He goes to the hospital, and then it starts with him in the hospital. And I think, in the Penguin show, he's like, "Damn, there's a lot of water out here." He's like, "God damn, there's a lot of water." Yeah, so I guess he'll say it like that. But
yeah, he just walks out.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
But yeah, Penguin.
Oh, and also he came with the Batmobile set.
Oh, he did.
So I'll build him later.
Cool.
Yeah. And for you, Evan, I'll put him in handcuffs and I'll put him up.
Yeah, that. So, who else do you want to talk about? Last few characters to talk about. Briefly, I guess we can talk about, because you said Riddler. You want to save him for last.
You want to save him?
Oh, yeah, we should.
Who else do you want to talk about?
I'm going to say Jeffrey Wright as, of course, Commissioner Gordon, as well as Andy Serkis as Alfred.
Well,
let's talk about both of them. But Gordon takes a bigger chunk of this movie.
Let's put a pin in Alfred.
Yeah.
And let's talk about Gordon first.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was great.
Amazing.
He was awesome.
He was fantastic.
And their relationship was fantastic.
It was better. That's one thing that I can point to specifically and be like, that I think was better than Nolan.
Yeah, and I love Gary Oldman, but I think he was a better Gordon.
He's a great actor, and he looks like Gordon, what you would want Gordon to look like. But I like Jeffrey Wright as Gordon.
Yeah, he was awesome.
I like him. I guess for me the villains like really stand out in my mind because I'm like, oh, like they nailed Penguin.
That's kind of why I said Alfred and Gordon, because like, we talk about obviously like the big characters.
Yeah.
But you know,
for me, like you think about it, like I'm like, damn, they nailed all the villains. But I'm not as hot on Alfred. But like you said, like the Gordon. Like,
yeah, he was awesome.
With Batman. I wonder if they.
It was funny too. I like their banter between each other was like.
Yeah, I actually did laugh a few times.
Yeah.
And I fucking one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie was the Gordon Batman.
When he punches him.
Where Gordon is able to like finesse Batman out of the GCPD, and that scene also like that was like one of the, and it's not realistic because I don't know, it wouldn't play out like that. Grappling hooks don't exist, but the way the way that he's like, well, if you haven't seen the movie, which I don't know why you're listening to this, but or if you need a refresher, maybe you're watching this in 2069.
Yeah.
Basically, Gordon's like, let me alone with Batman. I'll talk to him. I'll set him straight. All the police leave the room. But the thing about the tension is fucking fantastic because... I'm sorry, I have to rewind it back.
Mm-hmm.
I just have to rewind it back. But this is like my favorite Gordon moment in the whole movie, so I just want to talk about it. So Batman is knocked out by a bomb.
Mm-hmm.
He wakes up in the GCPD, and he's surrounded by cops. The room is literally shoulder-to-shoulder cops.
It is.
And most of the cops don't like Batman, or they don't trust him.
Yeah.
Gordon trusts him, and Gordon and Batman trust each other, which is part of why their relationship is really good in this movie, because there's even that one part where Gordon is like I trust you, like you're the only person I trust.
Yeah.
I don't trust the fucking police I work with. I trust you, which is fucking awesome.
It was, yeah. I was actually going to mention that, yeah.
That is absolutely something Gordon should say to Batman.
Yeah.
Like, that's so cool.
And at this point, he already knows, like, we kind of talk about the corruption thing. At that point, he already knows, like, oh, yeah, most of these people are probably corrupt. So it's like, yeah, I only trust you.
It's like, it's a super interesting dynamic, too, because, like, let's say, and I'll get back to the scene in a second, I'm sorry, but I'll briefly mention that. But first I wanted to say, the fucking, like, a normal, healthy police force, like, let's say this has to be fiction, right? Because we're talking, what if there was a healthy police force, right? No, but, you would expect they would all not like Batman, because it's like, well, he's a fucking lunatic, he's a vigilante.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But, if there's one good cop, and the rest of them are fucking evil.
Yeah.
And then a superhero comes. Of course they all hate him because he's like the only good guy.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh well, like that one good cop now has like a superhero with him. That sucks. Like I don't know. It's such a great line and a great like.
Yeah, but you mentioned it for the second time we were watching it. It kind of like it kind of shoots itself in the foot there later though. When Falcone's getting arrested, and there's like a million good cops, it's like, wait, where the fuck were they all before?
Maybe they're all like kind of good cops.
But you know what I mean, though? It's like, it's kind of back to what we were talking about earlier. It's like, some of the writing is not very cohesive in the whole movie. It's like, so it's like, oh, I don't know. Yeah.
It feels like they threw that away, right? Like, it feels like, because I was mentioning this whole scene with Gordon and Batman in the GCPD. None of them like Batman, and then he wakes up in a room filled with only those cops. They immediately start throwing punches, and
well, they try to unmask him.
They try to unmask him, and then he starts throwing punches, and then like Gordon has to hold him back.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Let me talk to him. And that was like super tense. It was great. Like, it reminds me of like in a movie where you just throw you throw the character into like the worst possible situation, and then you just write them out of it, and it's like it's fun. It's good. It's
it was.
It's tense, but and then fucking. But later, it's like they throw it away. Like, it's like, oh, well, now we need cops. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
It didn't... It's like, why? But anyways. Like,
yeah, like, they set up that whole aspect, that line about Gordon, and that whole scene is so tense, and, like, they milked what they needed out of it, and then they just threw it away. Like, it's like, oh, well, the cops are good, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, not great.
Yeah, that's a good little example of why the second half falls apart a little bit. But... Not that that's a huge deal, but you get what I mean. Like, it kind of
no. It's like
it falls apart in that way in a few ways.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, Evan, should I complete that fucking scene? And you want to talk about
it? Yeah.
Basically, like we said, Gordon holds Batman back from fighting the cops, and he's like, let me talk to him. He talks to him. He's like, motherfucker, you gonna have to punch me. You gonna take this key and go to the roof. I love the way he's like...
Yeah.
He's like miming like the physicality of like being mad at Batman. But he's
it's
like,
funny also the other cops are like, what did he say?
That's awesome.
It was.
That's awesome. He's like, you take this fucking key and you get out of here. You punch me in the face. And so like, and I really like that moment too, because Batman also uses that moment. He's like, oh, well, I might as well say something else. He's like, oh, is that cop like... He lets Gordon know.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I saw that cop. Like, he's dirty, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, that's a good line too. When he's like, oh, he's moonlighting as a cop.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Gordon's like, are you telling me he's moonlighting as a gangster? And he's like, I'm telling you, he's moonlighting as a cop.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It was.
It's a very Batman thing to say. And then so the real part that I love about this, obviously that Gordon interaction and the tense part of him waking up in the police station and all that, that's great. But my favorite part is him running like a fucking idiot through the hallway.
Batman? Yes, that was awesome. That was awesome.
That's so fantastic. And it's not something that you would get in another Batman movie.
No.
It's, I want to say it's like...
He literally throws someone out of the way when he's running.
Yeah,
remember?
He like pushes over a doctor or something.
Yeah, it wasn't a cop. He like pushes over like some random person.
Or something. He's just running for his life.
Yeah, but like we said, I feel like that kind of lends to the like human element we were talking about.
Yeah.
Because it's just like he's just trying to get the fuck out of it. Yeah.
I gotta get out of here.
Because I feel like Arkham Batman, for example, that wouldn't be something he would do.
You would never
or like,
have him in that situation.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And
where
plus,
you just throw some rando out of the way. Yeah.
That Batman is very friendly with all the police, though.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? I just use Arkham Batman as an example, but like...
Not even in a police scenario. But you wouldn't see that Batman, the Arkham Batman, running for his life and like pushing civilians out of the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he would never even like do that. Like, but that was great.
Yeah.
That was great. That literally was like one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie.
It was. No, that whole scene is great. And I want to say when we talk about the gadgets, the ending or the exciting part of that scene, when we talked about the gadgets a little bit. But yeah, so just to land with the Gordon thing, yeah, their whole dynamics together is just really good.
Yeah,
it was much better, I think, than Bale and Gary Oldman.
And like I said, one of the best parts of the movie, but also one of the like the shining examples like of this movie where it's like that's one of the things that they nailed.
Yeah. They had a great dynamic.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of chemistry, Pattinson and Jeffrey Wright. It worked. Yeah.
I was actually gonna say I wonder if they screen tested them like to see if
they
had
good
chemistry.
Question. Yeah.
It'd be interesting to know.
Well, it worked out, so.
Well, I would say honestly they had more chemistry than probably anyone else in the movie.
Probably, yeah.
Which I'm really just talking about Catwoman.
Well, those are the two characters he shares the most screen time with, Gordon and Catwoman. So, yeah, him and Gordon are like, for a good portion of the movie, they share scenes together.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
that's great.
I like that. Like and when they like interrogate Penguin, that was awesome. And remember, he's like, "Are you guys like duetting?" You remember?
Yeah, you want to sing at the wedding?
Yeah. That was cool. So shout out to both of them. That was great.
That was good.
That was really good.
You like when they leave him?
Yeah. No, actually, I didn't think that was one of the least funny jokes to me, in my opinion, when they leave him.
It was easy.
The reason, because I feel like that joke is so overplayed.
Me too.
I'm so tied up. You remember? Like, I feel like you hear that all the time. One that came to top of my head is fucking Naruto, when he's still tied up to the tree and they leave him there.
I love Naruto, so I know what you're talking about.
My point is, it's a very overplayed joke, I think. Yeah.
It definitely is. It's like, I hate to say this, because I don't want to sound like a hater too much, but I am a hater.
Mm-hmm. As we all are.
Yeah, let people enjoy things. Well, I like being a hater.
Yeah, me too.
I enjoy being a hater.
That was a good meme.
Yeah, it's a great meme. I love quoting memes.
Me too.
That sucks. No, but my point is, the fucking...
Do you have a point, Dylan?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good.
I'm trying to keep it concise. I'm sorry. But...
Oh, I'm joking anyways.
The, fucking... What was I talking about? The joke.
Mm-hmm.
That was like... There's a couple moments where I'm like, it's a little MCU-y. I don't want to... Like I said, I don't want to be a hater.
Yeah.
But the MCU, as we all know, sucks.
it's not funny. For most importantly, it's not funny. The MCU is not funny.
And that's definitely like an MCU joke.
The MCU is never funny. Yeah, for sure, definitely.
There was another one, but I can't remember.
Well, that just sticks out to me as being like probably the least funny.
Well, it's just like you said, it's a cheap joke.
Yeah,
it's an easy joke. But like I said, there's a classic cool Dylan Easter egg that only Dylan noticed, which was that Penguin waddles like a penguin.
Yeah. Well, that makes it a little bit better.
Dylan's a genius.
But it's funny, like back to the Raimi episodes. It's like the humor really comes from like the natural moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like you're
like,
saying out there.
I think
like when he like when he screams no out of like frustration. Like that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you know you made a good fucking movie.
Yeah.
That's how you know you made a good fucking movie. Because you don't have to like comedy, like the way the MCU does it, where they just like, Dan Harmon, will you write some jokes for us to put in? Like you're a fucking idiot. But in a good dramatic movie, you can laugh when they relieve the tension.
Yeah.
In a literal sense.
Yeah.
Like oh shit, Batman got out of that room with the cops. Now he's running. Like ha ha, that's funny. Like because it's like, you know.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's like the real shit. It makes you laugh. And he's like, no. It's actually fucking funny. And also, the fucking moment with Riddler was a little MCU-y too, where they find his video, where they watch his video, and he's like, hey guys, thanks for... That was a little MCU-y, but I thought it was funny.
But it worked for what they were going with, I think.
Me too.
Yeah.
Because that was like, that wasn't his public persona.
Yeah.
That was like him.
Yeah.
That's why it was funny. So, cool.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about Alfred?
No.
No,
I guess I do. Yeah.
I don't have too much to say because he's not really in the movie too much. But like we said, Bruce Wayne is barely in the movie, so it's like
it makes sense.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of time to spend with Alfred.
It makes sense.
Andy Serkis Alfred, he was fine.
Well, I think there's something interesting though. Is there's an aspect of like crime stories and shit like that where you want to have like a like Sherlock, Holmes and Watson. Like you want to have a Watson. So that there's someone for Batman to explain what the fuck is going on to, or like someone to bounce off of, so that like.
Well, that worked better for Gordon, I think.
Story. That's what I'm saying is like they didn't need Alfred because they had
Gordon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Gordon kind of filled that Robin.
And like you said, I remember you mentioned this the second time we saw it. Alfred wasn't really in his ear in the movie.
Yeah. No.
Which is like in Arkham, it's like, oh, you always hear he's like, Alfred, I need this. Alfred, help me out with this.
Yeah.
You know
my
what I mean?
Batsuit.
Yeah.
But it's like that's part of why they made that's part of why they made Robin in the comics.
To have somebody play off of,
like a Watson from Sherlock.
Oh
Holmes,
yeah, that makes sense.
Someone to bounce things off of, and so I think I don't know how I feel about it being Gordon versus Alfred. I guess I don't really care.
In this case, it worked.
I definitely prefer if it's these characters specifically from this movie. I'd much prefer Gordon.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not a huge fan of fucking
Andy Serkis.
Ulysses Claw. I'm not a huge fan of him.
It was funny. The second time we saw the movie, Dylan was like, yo, the people right next to me, they said, is that Ulysses Claw? I was like, there's no fucking way they said that. Dylan was joking, but I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, there's no way he said that.
But yeah, I mean, but for what he was given, though, he was fine.
Yeah, it was just, there's only like one major scene he has. Yeah. If when they're in the hospital together. And I like that scene a lot. Well, at least there's half of it I like. Because the first half is like really like cheesy exposition. And it's like, I don't know, it's like with the plot thing, it's like, oh, Falcone's like, yeah, your dad is evil. And then he's just like, no, your dad's not evil. And they don't really do anything to show us it. You know what I mean? It's just, he said, and then he says this. And he's like, oh, okay, that's all you get.
Yeah, I feel like that's also part of why... Fucking stop me if I'm repeating myself. I don't know if I said this already. Mm-hmm. That's part of why I think it falls apart in the second act too, is because, like we were saying, the first part, or not the first part, but the movie is very tense. Yeah. And they do it, well, actually they do like a really good job at that. Yeah. But when you have like, oh, this guy killed your father. No, this guy did. Like, there's like no tension.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's just like,
that's where the movie gets
hey, here's this. No, it wasn't true.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. So that wasn't great. But I do like the little moment they have after that where he's like, yeah, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I could never like be a father to you. That's what you needed, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It was a sweet moment.
It was a nice moment.
Yeah.
Well, they did kind of like a Spider-Man thing.
Yeah, because more Raimi. Earlier in the movie, he literally said to Alfred, "You're not my father." And I remember me and Dylan, we looked at each other when he said, because it was like Spider-Man 1. He said, "You're not my father." And then at the end, it's like, "Oh, I guess you are." Kind of, yeah, basically, yeah. They have that little moment. And I don't know, I thought that moment was really nice. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, but so that's another thing I can mention. So I was saying the twists like suck in this movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I only mentioned the Catwoman Falcone thing.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be a twist, I guess, or a reveal, or whatever. Yeah. And then they also had the like, oh, who killed his dad? Yeah. Which, like,
that was part of it. It was like that mixed with, oh, is he evil? It's like those two things were kind of going.
And it was like, oh, guess what? Like, fucking the guy who killed him in the last one, that's who killed him. Cool twist.
Was that in Batman Begins? Did Falcone kill him?
Yeah. Because that's Falcone in Batman Begins, right?
You would have to tell me.
Okay.
Yeah. It's been forever since I've seen that movie.
If you're listening, Google it. I don't fucking care. But, I mean, either way, it's like, that's never, like, interesting. Yeah. And besides, like, it's not... We talked about this after we left the movie. The Waynes are kind of supposed to be a big deal, but they're not given any screen time. So it's, like, hard to feel connected to them. And then by the end of the movie, we're talking about them for 20 minutes, and it's just like, I don't really care. Yeah. That's where the movie starts to get kind of dull. Yeah, you lose me on that.
It's just like dialogue, and it's just like talking about, oh, he said this.
I feel like they should have made a choice between like focus on the Waynes more, which you probably don't want to do because they did that in Batman Begins, or at least on his father, I guess. Either do that or focus more on the mob stuff. Like kind of pick one.
I agree. Yeah. Also, how do you feel about? I guess it was Alfred who trained him. Because they actually do literally say that.
I don't think he solely taught him.
Maybe not, but I don't know.
I kind of assumed he meant when he was a kid.
I'm not sure. Yeah. He was just like, I taught you how to fight. I taught you how to fight. I taught you how to fight.
Yeah, maybe.
But I think Andy Serkis did mention, though, he's like, oh, yeah, this Alfred. They don't say it in the movie, but he was like, oh, he was a soldier or something
he's
like that.
He's the Earth 1 Alfred.
Yeah, is that the Alfred who's a badass?
Earth 1 Alfred is the one who was in, like, MI6.
Okay, so like, I think it's supposed to be that.
That's like the Great Britain CIA or whatever, right?
Yeah, I think it's
MI6.
That's what it's supposed to be.
And he was like, because he mentions too in this, I think he was kind of like their butler plus their bodyguard. I think Alfred.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, I was supposed to protect them.
Yeah, so I think he was like hired as like a bodyguard, but he also like did like butlery type shit.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's what it's on.
And so, I assume when he taught him to fight, he was like 12 or something. I don't think he trained Batman like his Batman training.
Yeah. They never really get into it.
Which is fine.
No, yeah, it was fine, but they don't really get into like, how exactly he became Batman. But, yeah, it's fine.
I assume it's just like fucking, he went to ninja school.
He went to the League of Shadows.
Yeah. Literally, Batman Begins is canon. Literally. Like, it's just Batman Begins. Like, that also happened.
Batman Begins had a great origin.
Yeah.
For him, so I mean, it works.
Yeah. But I assume he did ninja training and he did like kickboxing with like the greatest kickboxer in the world, and he like saw Zatara and shit and did like close-up magic and stuff.
I agree. But yeah, not too much to say about Alfred. He wasn't in the movie too much.
Riddler time?
Do you want to talk about the Riddler?
Riddler time.
So yeah.
Riddler is... Okay, can I say all the influences I can think of for Riddler? Yeah. Zodiac Killer. Mm-hmm. Okay, the costume, the mask. Yeah. The glasses?
Maybe. Well, yeah, he did have glasses.
I think the glasses. Yeah. Zodiac Killer, Columbine shooters.
Yeah, definitely.
Solid.
Internet shooters in general.
Terrorists.
Yeah.
Racist Redditors.
Yeah. Well, the QAnon thing, that's definitely like, they were definitely touching on that. So, QAnon. Yeah,
I'll replace racist Redditors with QAnon. Well, you could also say racist Redditors.
No, I'm saying that's the part of it, yeah. They were definitely kind of going that. I don't think he was a racist, though, but they were kind of like that mentality.
I don't want to say this, but I think they're all white.
All the shooters?
I think all the Riddlers were white.
Yeah, I think they were, too.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it's never explicitly made clear if he's a racist or not, and I don't think he is. Who really knows?
I think the point is they hate everyone.
Yeah, but my point is, I'm agreeing with you though. I think they were definitely playing off that, the QAnon thing.
They were quote unquote coded as QAnon.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that's real. Saw.
Yes, definitely.
QAnon, Saw, Zodiac Killer, Columbine shooters.
Yeah.
Anything else?
That's a pretty solid take on him. Yeah.
Like Hannibal Lecter.
I wouldn't say that.
The interrogation scene, I guess, feels a little like that to me, but.
But he didn't like. No, I don't.
Maybe
he didn't seem like Hannibal.
Maybe a little Joker.
Hannibal was definitely way more in control.
Maybe a little
I think.
Joker. A little Joker.
No, I don't think so.
No Heath Ledger Joker. You don't think?
No, not
Gets
really.
himself caught on purpose.
I mean, he does get caught on purpose, but I don't think. That's more like 7, like you said. Or did you mention 7?
Oh no, 7.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. 7.
Yeah.
Cool. So there's Riddler.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with him. Yeah,
but it doesn't feel busy.
No, because he's not even in the movie that much. Most of the movie kind of them. A good portion of the movie is them trying to find him, and like you said, the Riddler's like intentionally trying to get caught, so he leaves clues because he wants Batman to find him.
Or not. Well,
it's at least part of it. Well, he wants Batman to find him, but he also wants him to let him kill Falcone.
Yeah.
Which in turn gets him caught.
Yeah.
So it's something that goes hand in hand. He wasn't like, yeah, I want to get caught, but.
Well, I think that's part of it, though.
Yeah.
Well, because
because him being caught leads him to safety for what happens at the end.
Yeah. Exactly. Epic. A masterwork.
Yeah. Well,
what do you want to start off with Riddler? What do you want to start? His first appearance is great.
That was a great scene. It was just like we were talking about like the shadows and everything in this movie. It was great when he's like watching the TV, the mayor, because he kills the mayor at the very beginning of the movie. It's actually the very first scene of the movie, even before Batman's introduction. When he like turns off the TV and you just see Riddler standing there.
Yeah,
that was great. That was fantastic.
I love that.
Yeah, it really was.
And it was like. And the first scene was like Riddler stalking that guy.
Yeah. First he's watching through the binoculars.
And it kind of parallels Bruce Wayne.
It does.
Which
is something big in this movie anyways.
I didn't think about this. Batman 89 does that.
Oh, it does?
It literally has like a rich couple and a kid walking down a dark alley. And then they get mugged. And then Batman beats the shit out of the muggers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it kind of parallels Batman 89 in that way. That's cool.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, I thought you were saying the kid and the parents mirrors Bruce Wayne. I think you meant later in the movie you have a very similar shot when Bruce Wayne's watching Selina through the binoculars. It looks almost exactly the same.
True.
I thought that's what you meant.
No.
But I see what you're saying now. Yeah.
No, I meant, it's like a... Kind of like it starts off with a different family getting Batman origined.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, yeah. And it's definitely a big thing because you see throughout the movie, he has that connection with the son of the mayor.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, what you're saying is on point. I agree.
Okay. But they do kind of do the same POV binocular shot with Batman watching Catwoman later. Interesting.
I thought that's what you meant, but I see what you're saying.
There's just so much to dissect.
Yeah. But my point is, they do a lot to mirror Batman and Riddler.
Which does that pay off, Evan? Yes,
it does. In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. Which we can talk about.
Well, does it pay off effectively and does it pay off are two different questions. It definitely pays off.
Yeah.
But is it good? We can discuss that. But yeah, so the first Riddler scene is fucking awesome.
It was.
And the tape.
And like I said, the tension.
Yeah.
That's great.
And one thing that I fucking loved in the first time we saw the movie, there was like well, I shouldn't be stuttering. There's a girl next to me.
Mm-hmm.
And the way she was watching the movie was like it was a horror movie. And it was kind of...
that first scene is kind of horror-esque.
Yeah, and then you get the thumb and like, there's some stuff in there.
Yeah.
But she was like, oh no. Like there's a few times. And she was scared when Riddler came out. She jumped when, like, there was the jump scare in the orphanage. She, the thumb, like, scared her or whatever. Yeah. And there was another scene where I could tell because of the PG-13 and the way where they were handling certain things that they weren't going to show anything too grotesque. But when there was one part where Batman was like opening something or I don't know, something. But anyways, she was like really fucking scared of what they were going to show. I was like, they're not going to show anything. It's okay.
Like I said, PG-13.
But that really, like, I feel like that really made me notice, like, the tension is really effective.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I wasn't quite, jump around like she was, I guess, but it made me, like, take note of how effective it was, which is fucking cool.
Yeah, definitely.
That's one reason I fucking love movie theaters.
Yeah.
Movie theaters is, like, literally my favorite place to go.
I'm watching this on HBO Max. I'm watching the
Even though HBO Max is the greatest
even though it's
alternative.
Even though it's goated.
Even though it's goated. But yeah, that's just another testament to, I think, great movie.
Yeah.
Great tension in the movie. But yeah, all the Riddler shit had her, like, jumping around.
Yeah, and that was a great scene. And he tapes him up. Poor Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, and the tape, like, not to mention every little thing that happens, but I don't know, something about the tape I really liked.
Yeah.
Very kinetic.
Yeah.
Very, like, DIY.
I agree. His whole costume. Like you say, he literally has, like, he wears a mask, but then you see on his head, he has, like, saran wrap on. Yeah. And it's like, Paul Dano mentioned this, it was to, like, he didn't want any hair or any DNA evidence to fall off him, so he kept the wrap on him. Right. So that was interesting. And they never explain that in the movie. Which I'm glad they don't have a scene of Riddler being like, I wrapped this around me, so literally nothing. You know what I mean?
Over my mask, so I didn't leave a single fucking hair.
You know what I mean? They would do that in the MCU, but in a good movie, you would get the idea. You they don't have to spell it out for you.
Yeah, you think about it.
Exactly.
You pick up on it. You watch it again, you pick up on it.
Yeah. So that was cool. I like that.
You watch 107 fact videos, they tell you.
They tell you. Or Paul Dano will literally tell you himself in the interview.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome. I love that. There are some great little details like that.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I actually did like his costume. And like you said, DIY. It felt real.
Yeah, and later, even like in the message board thing.
Yeah, they're talking about it.
Which, that was really cool because that was like the one time in the movie where I didn't call it. Like, I didn't pick up on where it could have gone, but I did notice the clue.
Yeah, the chat.
Yeah.
I didn't know either. I thought they were telling him.
I did I read, so for context, we're talking about later in the movie when they watch Riddler's live stream.
Yeah.
Or video, live stream.
Yeah.
And, in the chat, they're like, oh, blah, 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 like, buy this rifle. Oh, like, da-da-da, like, get the, you can get it from the military surplus Gotham store, whatever.
You know what I didn't even think about also? What? All them pulling up on the Gotham...
The stadium?
Yeah. Is it supposed to be like the Trump rioters after before the inauguration?
Like January 6th?
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Since we brought up the whole QAnon thing.
Well, yeah. That's what I said. It's like QAnon, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying like very specifically that event though. I didn't even think about that until just now.
It's hard to... I would say no.
I don't know. Probably not, but it's interesting.
Well, no, because the first look at the movie was 2019.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So no, I think that's like a happy accident.
Okay.
But I think it is like QAnon.
It's interesting though.
It is interesting. But yeah, I don't think it's...
Okay. That just popped in my head just now. I haven't even thought about that.
But they do shoot the mayor.
Yeah.
Which is like... Interesting.
I don't know.
Take Nancy Pelosi's chair or whatever. What did they do?
They like stole a bunch of people's laptops. And yeah, there was like they jumped in her office.
Oh, a guy took like a selfie in her chair.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah, fucking idiots. Okay.
But yeah, so that's all going on. There's also my second favorite, well, I don't even know what I said my first was. But anyways, I don't know what my first favorite scene with Riddler was. A scene with Riddler I liked a lot also, with the bomb on the DA. Yeah. And he's like, 3 riddles, 2 minutes. I like that scene a lot. That was awesome.
That was like kind of your most Riddler moment.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I feel like the most Penguin moment was like when he like de-escalates, and then he kind of talks to Batman. He doesn't give him really what he wants, but he still talks to him. He de-escalates. And then I feel like that's your like Riddler moment.
Yeah.
Like your huge Riddler moment. Because he gets to sit there and be funny and tell riddles.
Yeah.
And kill someone.
So, yeah, very Riddler-esque.
Yeah. There's a super, like, you kind of get what you pay for there.
Yeah.
They give you what you want.
Yeah, I'm glad that we got at least one scene like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good.
And it's badass, Batman's just like, aardvark. Like he's he gives them the answers.
Yeah, I like that also. This Batman's really smart.
Yeah.
They go out of their way to show you that throughout the whole movie.
But one thing I did want to mention about Alfred, wind it back to Alfred.
Yeah.
His other scene, because we talked briefly about the
hospital. Oh, he does help him find out the.
But I like how Alfred is depicted this way, where it's he's like, go, Master Wayne, go fuck some bitches. Like, you don't fucking know bitches, Master Wayne. Stop being Batman.
Oh, yeah, he wants him to, keep up the public persona, which at this point, Bruce Wayne... We didn't even mention that, but Bruce Wayne's, completely lacking.
He doesn't really want him to quit, but he's you're, be Bruce Wayne, you're still a Wayne.
Yeah.
Alfred respects the Waynes.
Spider-Man 2? Bit Spider-Man 2 there?
What?
The balance.
Sure.
Yeah,
sure. But that's the thing about Batman, though, is he doesn't even like that shit.
Well, what do you mean?
There's never a...
in this movie, yeah, definitely.
Or in I would say not all, but many interpretations of Batman, it's that's not an issue.
Yeah, in the same way it is for Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Where it's for Peter Parker, it's a lot more... It's it kind of is he doesn't want to be Spider-Man. He does it because he has to. Yeah, where if with Batman, it's more he wants to do it.
Yeah, Spider-Man, I mean, he enjoys it to an extent, but it's any hobby. It's you need some time for yourself.
Yeah.
Or any job.
Yeah.
It's you need some time for yourself, and you need some time to actually work. But for Batman, it's the problems come for everyone else. It's that puts pressure on Alfred, on his company, on the Robins. They're oh, you're so distant. Batman doesn't want to be Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
most of the time. He doesn't usually. But anyways, I liked how Alfred was I respect the Waynes, I respect your family. And he's this is my legacy. This is how I respect my father, whatever the fuck, And I liked how, even though Alfred's giving him shit for that, he, immediately starts helping him.
Yeah.
By, trying to do the cipher, the Riddler cipher.
Yeah. I also like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's a cool part.
I would say, yeah, that's pretty on point to Alfred, just in general.
Yeah.
So.
He's kind of the guy that keeps it on the rails a little bit. Yeah.
Master Wayne.
Master Wayne, you're looking rather trippy tonight.
But yeah, what else do you want to say about the Riddler?
What else do I want to say about the Riddler? The Riddler is cool.
I called it though in the prediction video. His followers. I didn't predict that they would actually become a literal part of the plot, but that he would have followers.
Oh,
and then that ended up being a big part of the movie. So.
Yeah, that was kind of the thing.
Yeah.
That happens. So that's cool.
Yeah.
So what other Riddler scenes are there? So one thing that was kind of cool. Also,
should we talk about his motive?
Well, one thing I wanted to mention. Sorry.
No.
We move on to that, and then we'll probably move on to something else. This is probably the ending of Riddler talk, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. Mm-hmm. Anyways, the point is, another influence that this might be a stretch, but I thought it's interesting. You know that old urban legend where it's there's someone in your back seat?
Oh.
You know that urban legend?
I don't really know what you mean by that.
There's an urban legend. I think I might be... Briefly, I'll describe it.
It's funny, though. I would say something about another Matt Reeves movie, though, that you brought that up. But continue.
I did actually want to talk about Matt Reeves.
Okay,
because we didn't do that off the top. But basically the urban legend goes... did he do an urban legend movie? Is that what you're going to mention?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I'm going to mention Let Me In.
Okay.
And Riddler.
Well, we will talk about
and Back Seats. Because there's something very similar.
Well, we will talk about that.
Yeah.
But, basically the urban legend goes, there's a woman driving, and someone starts following her in a car, and they're flashing their brights at her, they're yelling at her or whatever.
Oh, I've heard this, because it was someone in the seat.
They're trying to
They thought he would,
her,
yes, I've heard
because
this.
I guess there's she stops at a gas station, and then they see the guy in the back seat, and then the guy in the back seat hides when the woman goes back in the car.
Yeah,
they realize,
I've heard this.
Oh yeah, that wasn't someone that she knew was there. They're trying to warn her, and then the guy in the back seat kills her or whatever. That immediately came to mind in that one scene where the DA
he was in the DA's
goes into
back
his
seat,
car, and then he's really drunk, and then he looks over and his the headrest on his seat is taken off, I guess, so Riddler can kill him easier. And then he notices that, and then immediately Riddler starts bashing his head.
Yeah.
I don't know. That reminded me of that urban legend, and I also like the detail of he had taken the seat off, the headrest off the seat. Interesting.
I didn't even know what it was until you said that just now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't know what it was. I saw it. I was like, what the fuck is that on the seat? And he looks at it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
It's weird. But, yeah, very cool moment. And it kind of reminded me of that. And that kind of added to, like, the horror element of it, I guess.
Yeah, I definitely
It
agree.
reminded me of that urban legend. I always liked that one for some reason. I thought it was interesting.
But what I'm going to say, though, about Let Me In, it's funny. I thought about this just now. I was like, I didn't even think about this.
So, like you said, the same director.
Yeah, Matt Reeves. He did Let Me In. But there's Richard Jenkins' character in that movie. So he's like, I guess you can say he's, I forgot her name. What her name is. Chloe Grace Moretz's character, the vampire. Right. He's like her carer or whatever. So he like kills people and gets blood for her. But he does the same thing. He hides in the back seat. And he wears like a garbage bag over his head and he wears glasses. I didn't even think about that. I was like, oh, it's kind of like Riddler.
Oh, yeah.
That's very similar. I didn't think about that.
That man said, if it ain't broke.
Yeah. And like he hides in the back seat in the same exact way like that. Yeah.
Interesting.
So,
I gotta watch that one.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's a good movie. That just clicked in my head just now when you said
10 things missed.
Yeah.
Truly 10 things missed.
I don't know if that was a direct callback to that or probably not, but it might be just something he likes. Is interesting to him. Yeah.
Because it's maybe he likes that urban legend too.
Maybe, yeah.
You never know. What if that guy was a vampire dad or whatever?
Yeah.
Cool. But that could be one of those things where it's like people use something earlier in their career, they repurpose it because they like it, or something like that.
Yeah, but it's like not just the hiding in the seat, but also the garbage bag on his head. Not that Riddler had a garbage bag, but it's similar.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, very similar.
So that's interesting.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. So, more Riddler talk. Was there any standout cool Riddler moments? I would say my favorite Riddler part.
The riddle scene that was really cool.
Is the riddle scene. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about actual Paul Dano Riddler, like not in the costume, when we finally see him at the end?
And then kind of there's pretty much two standout scenes, right? You get the one we just described with the riddles.
Yeah.
And the bomb. And then the one you're talking about is actually Paul Dano out of the mask in the interrogation room.
Yeah.
Those are kind of the two scenes you get.
Yeah.
All right.
And I like this scene a lot, actually.
I like it. It's a little wordy, and it's another example of like, I don't know if you can lump them together, but they're kind of like the style over substance thing mixed with like the focus on like the tension.
Yeah.
Because we didn't mention this yet. In this movie, they really want you to think that Riddler knows who Batman is.
Yeah,
but he doesn't. The twist is kind of that he doesn't know who
he
is.
Yeah.
And for me, it's so heavy-handed.
It definitely is.
That they want you to think that he does know.
The way he said Bruce Wayne, he says it 3 times.
Yeah, and he's like, we didn't get him.
I'm not saying he's like, it sucks that we missed him.
One that got away.
That was actually kind of funny, too.
It was funny.
He's like, because he keeps saying it, and he's like, we really missed him, didn't we?
Oh, yeah, like I said, too, like, in a drama, your laughs are going to come from the relief and tension.
Yeah.
And that's like, oh, he doesn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
And the music, like, literally stops there when he's like, we missed him, didn't we?
It's good. And that's interesting, too, because that moment reveals two things. Or that statement alone.
Yeah.
Because you know how in movies they say, like, or screenwriting or whatever, they're like, in your scene you want two things to, like, happen or be revealed or change.
Yeah.
Right? Just in that sentence, it reveals two things.
Well, that he doesn't know that he's Bruce Wayne.
He doesn't know he's Bruce Wayne, and he thinks he's working with him.
Yeah.
That's pretty clever.
Yeah, it is, yeah. But yeah, so this whole time he thinks, like, him and Batman are doing this together.
Yeah.
Which they kind of are. Batman kind of unknowingly helps him when he arrests Falcone, which throughout the whole movie, that's basically what Riddler is leading him to getting... Because they never explain how Riddler knows that Falcone is the rat. We never find out how he knows.
They never reveal anything about how he knows anything.
Yeah, but somehow he knows that Falcone is the rat.
Drops.
And basically the whole movie is Riddler trying to get Batman to find out that it's him and get Falcone arrested.
Can I ask you something, Evan?
And I guess he knew that Falcone... yes, you can.
Oh, go ahead.
I apologize.
No, go ahead. Continue.
I just wanted to finish the
please.
thought. He knew basically that this would lead Batman to the Iceberg Lounge, and he would get arrested there, and then he finally have a perfect opportunity to assassinate Falcone. It's kind of like there's a lot of leaps in logic, I guess you can say. Maybe that's not a good way to put it, but it's like extremely convenient. But like we said, the writing in the movie is kind of at points not so great.
Yeah.
So,
but I think the best part about it though is there really are like parasocial relationships and demented people and people that you know what I'm saying. Like the fact that he thinks, oh, like we're working together, Batman.
Yeah. Well, he literally said to him, he's like, "You're the Brawn." He tells him that he's like, I can't do what you do.
Yeah, I can't go in there and beat him up.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm just gonna, you bring him out for
Yeah.
me. So, and it's like, if you think you're working together, why wouldn't Batman just kill him himself?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
There's a tons of leaps in logic, but the thing is, you buy it because
he's insane.
He's insane.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it really is like the QAnon shit. And
yes,
That's the moment that scene is where it clicked for me. Because he's like, because there's elements of it, I guess, before. But, really the moments when it's clicked is like, no, you're working with me.
Yeah.
It's like everyone thought Trump is like, oh yeah, Trump rubbed his nose twice. That meant he was saying hi to us. Like, he's working for us. Like, or with us. Like, no. Like, you're crazy. So...
I actually like that, too. When he's, like, telling, he's like, you're fucking insane. Like, Batman's saying it, too.
Yeah, once Batman realizes what, like, he thinks that they're partners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's why I wanted to say I like that scene a lot. The interrogation, or whatever you want to call it, scene. Because it's, like... Paul Dano did a really good job of playing, like, Riddler crazy. It didn't feel like Joker crazy. It felt like Riddler crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense. If you don't really know the character, then it probably doesn't make sense what I'm saying. But I know Dylan knows exactly what I mean by that. I don't know. Yeah. It was great. That's why I liked it. Like, 'cause he really felt like Riddler in that scene.
Yeah, because it's less like... Joker is like... He's like in his own little world.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, well, I know things that you don't, and I just... Or not even that, but you know what I mean? Like, he's
the
like,
way you said that was
he's
funny.
like, I see the world a little differently. Like, he's like that. But the Riddler's just a... What do they call it? Like a neurologically atypical individual.
Yeah.
And he, like, is just trying to do what he thinks is the right thing to do, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like, he's trying to drain the swamp. I think that's intentional.
Yeah.
I think that's
the full flood thing.
And it's because it's all, like, fixated on the politicians and the bureaucrats and shit like that.
Yeah.
He's
like, they're all no good. They're all corrupted.
Yeah.
Which they are, but he kind of taken it to the extreme.
Of course. That's another thing we did talk about after the movie, remember? That's kind of a thing in superhero movies. It's like they kind of both are doing the same thing, but one of them will kill people,
yeah.
one of them won't. And that's another aspect of this movie, too, that I wanted to talk about, Evan.
Mm-hmm.
We can get into this a bit more later, but...
What do you want to talk about now? Because we did want to mention his motive.
We're towards the end, yeah.
Because I guess we can talk about his motive now. The Riddler, if you'd like.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Well, what were you going to ask me before?
Well, I was going to ask you something stupid. I was like, how old is QAnon, do you know?
Oh. I have no fuck.
Is it like 2016 it started or something?
No, it was like...
Later than that?
It was like after, 2018, maybe like halfway through. When they thought like, oh, everybody's working against Trump or whatever. Yeah, stupid. Anyways. Yeah, so basically his motive in this movie, you find out he was an orphan. And, basically, I guess... This wasn't even the Wayne's fault, but he, like, blames them for it. So, the Waynes had, like, this fund, the renewal fund, that was set up for, like, orphanage and, like, not just, like, the orphanage, but also, like...
It was, like, infrastructure.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Stuff to help the city in, like, a positive way. And then once Thomas Wayne dies, I guess there was nobody that really had, like, set control over that fund that he had set up. And then, like, the government, politicians, the police, they have access to these funds and they start using it for themselves, basically.
Yeah.
Not what it was set up for. Which, again, it's, like, kind of weird. There's leaps in logic there. It's like, there was no oversight over this whatsoever. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, like, what the fuck was this?
Yeah.
Like, there's no, like, what are you talking about?
Like, it makes sense, like, politicians using, certain money that's set aside in a wrong way, but I don't know. It's weird. It's like, okay, there was just this unlimited amount of money that they can just tap into.
In real life, it's not even close to that simple.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like it's very oversimplified.
It's simplified, yeah.
Yeah. Which that's kind of a weak point for the movie for me. But anyway, so it's like the orphanage ends up getting fucked over, I guess, where all this money was supposed to go to.
Presumably, like public schools, the orphanage, hospitals.
Yeah.
All the places that would have benefited from it are like, falling apart and shit like that.
Basically, yeah. And then so he's this orphanage. He's the orphanage. Him himself is the orphan.
Him's the orphanage.
He's an orphan, and then it's like, oh yeah, he lived this rough life or whatever.
I was eating rats.
He said the rats were chewing his fingers. The point is that he lived.
Rats chewed my fingers.
He's an orphan who lived a really fucked up life, and I guess it was not the Wayne's fault at all, really. But I guess maybe the fact that they didn't put any kind of oversight over the money. Maybe he's angry about that.
But the fact that they put the line in too, where it was like after Thomas Wayne died, so it was like it was helping, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's like even less his fault.
Yeah, but it was also he died. I think he died like immediately after he had set it up.
Maybe.
Yeah, because I guess Falcone knew he could get some access to that. But also he was gonna fuck over Falcone. That's a whole thing in the movie as well. But yeah, he's angry at that, and also he's angry at that. Like, oh, Bruce Wayne. They were like people took the media, I guess, they focused on how Bruce Wayne was affected by this, even though he was like a billionaire kid, not how other people got affected by this. Like, I don't want to say it's much worse because he did lose his parents. I mean, it's worse, but it's like, well, you can't really stack one person's trauma against like another. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's literally like
they're still both traumatized people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's kind of wrong to be like, well, no, he suffered worse, but that's the way Riddler sees it. He's like, yeah. The billionaire fucking kid, everyone's focused on him, which is true. It's like, people don't pay attention to the poor or whatever. But I don't think he should hold it personally against Bruce Wayne, but he does. Yeah, I don't know. Anything you want to say about that?
Well, that was also part of interesting. That was also interesting in that scene because I think you still think the audience is meant to think that Riddler knows he's Bruce Wayne while he's telling him this.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. But it was like he was like, "Oh yeah, like don't we hate that fucking guy?"
Yeah.
But really the audience is meant to think like I hate you. Like this is why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I fucking hate you.
Yeah.
And you're
like he's telling him. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
Like you were a pretty boy, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
But really he's like, we should have killed that guy.
Yeah.
Like that. You and me, Batman. We should have killed Bruce Wayne. I don't know. It's kind of clever.
Yeah. It was good.
I don't know. I still am kind of mixed on it, but
yeah, like I said, there's weird. The writing isn't all there, and then, but anyways, that's why he's mad at all the elites, I guess you could say, because they've been using this money that I guess he felt entitled to.
Which I guess lines up with Catwoman.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, they were using it in the wrong ways, I guess.
But I guess they don't.
And also, he's mad at Bruce Wayne personally because of that as well.
I guess they don't really do anything with... It's kind of like... It's interesting. There's a few parallels to Alita. In my opinion.
How so?
Okay, so... Well, sorry, poor listener, that we didn't put the Alita episode out already.
Well, you'll listen to it next week.
That's Dilly's fault, but...
It was a busy week. Like, that Wednesday, we weren't expecting to see Batman and everything. Then we saw it again Thursday. And it's a long-ass movie on top of it, and we work... Of course, we have jobs. RNS is not our job, so...
Yeah, if you want to help out, subscribe, like, comment, share. But, the Alita parallels are kind of interesting, because I think it kind of falls apart as it goes on, a little bit. And I think also there's parallels in a, very surface-level way, but, like with Riddler and Catwoman, they both kind of felt entitled to a certain amount of money, something like that. And then in Alita, what was it? It was a guy who steals robot parts falls up in with love with a robot girl.
Terry McGinnis.
And shit like that. So I don't know. There was something else too I thought about. How cool the villain tease was.
Yeah, that was fucking sick.
Two of the greatest villain teases of all time.
Yeah, definitely. So, that was fucking sick.
But yeah, let's get back to Riddler. What were we freaking talking about?
Well, yeah, that just in general, that's his motive.
Cool motive.
And it made sense. And then, like you said, it is kind of relevant with the whole QAnon thing. Because, like, and just Trump supporters in general, like, a lot of them feel wronged by the system.
Disenfranchised.
Yeah, which is okay, but then it's like, oh, some of the ways they reacted to it, or some of the people they supported were not the best. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, that ends up being a whole theme of the movie. It's like, well, how do you respond to the trauma in your life? Because he literally spells that out at the end of the movie. It's like, you can use it to, like, strengthen yourself, or you can, like, use it to become, like, an insane psycho who kills people. You know what I mean? I guess that's the theme of the movie.
I guess.
But also, like, if we're like we said earlier, the themes aren't, like, entirely coherent.
Well, I did want to mention the Catwoman.
But that's definitely a thing, and like we said, Batman spells it out at the end.
The one of the biggest inconsistencies to me was Batman kind of, like you were saying, like, well, we didn't mention kind of the very ending of the movie, where one of the Riddler goons, or one of the Riddlers, one of the QAnon Riddlers.
Yeah, so Riddler gets caught, and then he has a bunch of goons, basically. He has, like, a bunch of supporters. Like we said, it's like QAnon, who he sends out to, like, shoot up where the mayor is getting elected or inaugurated, whatever.
Yeah, so there's a lot to unpack with the third act.
And like we said, it's very, like, him and this whole scene is, like, the most school shooter-esque.
Super school
Yeah,
shooter.
yeah. Because there's a bunch of online nerds who pull up with guns, dressed up, and they start going to town.
Yeah. Or they try to.
Well, yeah,
But
of
then
course,
someone
of
shows
course,
up.
the Batman shows up. Start kicking ass.
Maybe a bit of a Commissioner Gordon, maybe a little Catwoman.
A little Catwoman, if all. Yeah, you gotta give them credit too. Yeah.
Maybe a little Bane Venom.
Yeah.
But what I was getting at, because like I said, I feel like there's a lot to unpack in the end there. Where should I start, Evan? Where should I start?
You tell me.
Well, I guess let's just broadly describe, what's happening. Riddler's plan, and I do want to give the movie credit here, Riddler's plan was to get caught.
Yeah.
Because I guess it would make him safe from the flood, and he's going to flood the city.
Yeah.
And he wants to, well, whether it makes him safe or he just wants to watch it happen from there, either way, that's good. And the police think there is one Riddler.
Yeah, yeah.
And it turns out there's a lot of Riddlers.
There's a lot of Riddlers.
Paul Dano was the only one doing anything.
Up to this point,
Up to the end of the movie, and then he gets put in jail, and then, the plan is, oh, well, they don't know. There's a bunch of other Riddlers. So he turns the bomb on, the big bombs in the Boston, I guess you could put the Boston bomber, or wait, no, the Atlanta Olympics bomber, which is the one that was in the van. No, that was the World Trade Center attacks in 1996.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can lump him in there with, like, the Zodiac Killer and Columbine and shit like that, because he sets off all the vans. The vans explode and break the water barrier to the ocean. It floods Gotham, and I guess there's, like, a city plan of, like, if there is a flood or whatever, everyone evacuate to the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
So they all do that, and then the plan is, like, they know they're gonna, since that's the plan that the city has for people to evacuate to the stadium. They'll all be sitting ducks, and we'll all just shoot them, all of them, and we'll kill everyone in the fucking city.
Yeah,
that. So there's several reasons I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because this is the first movie, and I just got introduced to this Gotham that both of us were like, yeah, we love this city, this is great, and then you're gonna, like, Arkham City that bitch, and, like, it's in shambles, and even that's another Arkham thing too, is because, like, you remember in Arkham City, like, half the city is flooded.
Yeah, it is.
Remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's, like, kind of like that. And it's like, I just, like, got here.
Yeah.
I liked Gotham. Why are you, like, flooding it?
Yeah, yeah.
I hope that's gone by the sequel. I don't know how that would even work.
Good question. I don't know.
Do cities flood IRL? I don't think so.
Hurricane Katrina.
Don't say that.
It did flood.
Don't say
you said, did they flood IRL? They do.
Don't say that.
I didn't say anything wrong. They do flood.
They drain that bitch?
Atlanta flooded too.
Did it?
Yeah, didn't it?
I don't know.
I feel like it did.
Well, I don't know. Anyways, the point is, it was too much. And I was also thinking, like, all these, like, I don't want all of Gotham to die.
It's very over the top, especially for a movie that's so grounded, like, well, for a superhero movie that's so grounded for most of it, and it ends up being very over the top at the end.
Yeah, I don't...
I don't dislike it, though, I'll say that. But it's kind of goofy at points.
It's just, for me, that takes me out of it, because I'm like, did, like, 95% of the city probably just died. Because the way they show the water is like, it fucking is immediately super deep flooded. And it's probably a very small amount of people that were even able to get in the stadium, even though they show the stadium is full, but then the stadium also floods.
At the very, like, after he already takes out all the Riddler goons.
Yeah, so I don't, pretty much the whole city should be fucking dead, like, in my eyes.
No, I agree. Like I said, there's a lot of leaps in logic with the writing, and it doesn't... It's like, yeah, I don't know.
That really bothered me personally.
No, I agree with you. And then also, something that was going off that, though, of weird is that, like, he said to Batman, oh, you're here... Like, he thought Batman already discovered that, like, under the carpet and stuff at that point.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you're here to watch it with me. But what doesn't make sense to me is, like, well, wouldn't he know that Batman would tell the cops about that?
Well, no, he thought he was on his side, remember? Because he's a lunatic.
Well, yeah, but still, up to that point, he had been working with the cops, and Riddler definitely knew that he was working with the cops.
Maybe, yeah, he thought he was like his Trump, like he was his inside man.
And just if one thing I don't know, it's weird. It's weird. I guess that makes sense, though, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I thought about that just now, though. I was like, well, that's kind of weird.
For me, the flood itself bothers me a lot more because like you said, it is like a there's an element of like you have to suspend your disbelief, like to think that like would this really work out like this if Riddler thought he was working with Batman?
Yeah.
But there's an element of like if you are delusional like that, and it's kind of like a parasocial relationship, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you think you're friends with a celebrity, but you don't know that there was shit like that.
Yeah.
Or like a streamer or something. There's an element of that going on where you don't want to do anything that will confirm that you're wrong.
Yeah,
like
you're right.
You don't want to falsify it for yourself, so you kind of leave room for interpretation.
I agree. But also, I agree with you. So that's definitely a whole aspect of it that he's just fucking crazy. So I agree. But at the same time, I don't want to completely let off the hook and just be like, oh, you can just explain everything away by just saying he's crazy.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
So...
But I think
I'm on like both fences there.
I think there's an element of it that makes sense to me where it's like, well, I just said it, but yeah, like he doesn't want to know that he's wrong
like an online
that.
conspiracy theorist.
He wants to believe it, so he's just like, yeah, Batman's on my side, and I'm just gonna like do like nudge him, like just try and nudge him a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna send him a $5 super chat and be like, hey, I love you, man. Like you make my days way better. I'm not gonna say anything that'll make him like confirm that he's not my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense to me, I guess.
Yeah. It's also interesting that he actually kind of thinks of himself as a vigilante. And then you actually find out he's actually, like, he was directly inspired by Batman.
He kind of is a vigilante, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. But he's killing people. Well,
Vigilantes kill people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's not a superhero, let's put it like that. Yeah.
I wouldn't call him a superhero.
Well, my point though is that he's actually like directly inspired by Batman, which is interesting.
So when does that come up?
He says like, yeah, when I saw you doing what you're doing, it's like it inspired me to like get my own mask. And all that.
Because he was like, you should have seen my mask.
Yeah,
you would have loved it or whatever. I kind of like that too.
Me too.
You
Yeah.
should have seen me when I was working.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that kind of goes hand in hand with the ending where he's like, the whole vengeance thing's like, yeah, I shouldn't be venging because I end up inspiring like lunatics or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's why the ending kind of worked for me, even if it wasn't entirely like maybe consistent throughout the movie.
It's kind of interesting too because, like I said at the beginning of the episode about the beginning of the movie, where he's like, "I am the fucking shadows." Like that's the first time I've seen that element of Batman like portrayed like super overtly on screen. Like people say that, but it was like they're telling you. like you're not interpreting it like we're saying. Like Batman is the shadows. People are scared to go out at night. I mean, I guess they say that in The Dark Knight, right?
Yeah.
They say like, oh, criminals are scared to go out at night. They say that, but on the flip side, I also think this is like, well, I guess I was wrong about that. I don't think this is the first time that, but they showed it. They didn't say it. They showed it.
Yeah.
Like criminals are scared to go out at night, right? I guess. And then at the end of the movie, they kind of confirm like, yeah, Batman does create the villains.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he draws the crazy out. Like it's like very overt. I feel like there's like you could read into it in the Nolan trilogy. Like, is that true? But in this, it's like, yeah, he directly made the Riddler be the Riddler.
Yeah. So he doesn't want to like. But the reason we like me and you were saying the first time we saw it, where it's like it doesn't fully line up, is the fact that he goes out of his way not to kill people.
Yeah.
And he's like very upfront that he does not kill people, doesn't use guns or anything like that.
There's 2 direct references to it.
Yeah. And we felt like that the whole message they were trying to go for at the end, it probably could have been strengthened if the character development Batman has in this movie was like, oh, I should not kill people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it also kind of lines up with the whole how the elites are treated versus how poor people are treated. So it's like, oh, Riddler's killing all these elite people and he's a villain. Well, Batman's killing like
poor people.
Yeah, and he's a hero. That would have been great. That would have been great.
Oh. See, because we talked about that, but that's a good angle.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good angle. Wow.
That was a missed opportunity.
Well,
but we talked about this. We feel like a reason they stressed that was because people were mad about Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
So Warner Brothers was like, no, make sure you focus that Batman does not kill people.
Yeah.
But it would have been a good angle. Like you said, yeah.
Well, no,
it's really a missed opportunity.
Because I was thinking just, oh, in the beginning of the movie, I guess he kills people, and then at the end, he's confronted with Riddler in some way, and he's like, what's the difference between you and me? Like the guy in the hockey pads in Dark Knight. Like, and he's like, and then Batman's kind of like, I don't know. Like,
yeah, yeah. So
I guess I shouldn't kill people, because you kill people, you're evil.
That would have made the message that it was trying to go for and a lot stronger. And I think it would have made Batman actually have like a something to latch onto as far as the character development. Because like at the end he kind of just says it, but you don't really like show it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That would have been like a very specific thing to latch onto, and it would have made it the whole thing just come full circle, I guess.
Yeah.
Or it would have been a lot stronger, I think.
I agree.
Because you never really see at the end Batman's just like, yeah, I need to become a symbol of hope, not like a symbol of fear or be angry about the past. I shouldn't be getting revenge for the past. I should be like uplifting people or whatever.
Yeah, like trying to help people in the present.
Yeah, exactly. But I think if you had that one little thing, it would have been a lot stronger.
Yeah, because like you said, an actual character change.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, maybe at the end he's like, oh, I guess I won't shoot people with grappling hooks no more. Maybe he says that. I don't know.
And it would tie in with the whole rich versus poor thing if you had that.
Yeah, what you said,
it's a completely, really missed opportunity.
What you said, though, that's actually really clever.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely. That's a good idea.
And like I said, it's like, I don't want to blame Warner Bros. For the... I'm not saying that, but I feel like they're like, no, we don't want to have this Batman kill people because there were people angry about the Ben Affleck thing. And a lot of this stuff that's going on in this movie is a direct response to how people have reacted to Batman. Yeah, exactly, yeah. It's not really a response. Like I said, it's a pivot. They're like, okay, we need to stop the direction we were going. Go back to like the Nolan-esque.
They don't like that. Let's go back
here.
Yeah,
exactly.
But yeah, I actually think that's really fucking smart.
But yeah, it was a missed opportunity.
Because like...
It ties in directly, not like we said, Jeff, with the whole rich versus poor thing going on the whole movie. So, I don't know.
And the rich versus poor element in the movie felt a little shallow too. And I feel like that would have elevated it a lot.
Yeah. Just a little change. You can do a lot.
And I think we were mentioning this too. I feel like that might have been like in the plans at some point. For real.
Well, yeah, we don't know for sure, but it's like you said, they're like, I feel like they're definitely like, no, make sure he does not kill people.
Because there really is no character change. Like,
yeah, like there is, but it's like they don't show it.
Yeah, he just says it. Like he's like,
and that's like what we were saying. The movies, a lot of this movie is style over substance.
Yeah.
So, and then yeah. But at the end, like, that can be fine, but at the end, you're, like, very trying to hone in on this one thing, and it's like, well, it doesn't completely pay off.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's why the second half is weaker compared to the first half, because they very focus on all that in the second half.
Because because he's like, I have to be Hope now. It's like, like, realistically, what is the difference? Like, what you're not, like you said, like, you're telling me, not showing me. Like,
yeah.
What is the actual difference? I don't know. Like, is it that you touch people while they're being, like, airlifted into a helicopter?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. It's like,
I guess that's, you know. Good
I mean, maybe you can tie it in with the Bruce Wayne thing, where it's like he was kind of like he didn't want anything to do with just people in general. Where he's like, oh well, maybe I should be like trying to like be more open to not just being the shadow of criminals, but also trying to help people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's not very clear. It's not clear.
And also another thing is, I think it would have been interesting too, like, because Batman. They show you, like, oh, I have to be selective. Like, he was like, remember the beginning of the movie? He was like, I have to be selective about what crime.
Yeah. Because he's like, oh, I can't be everywhere. Which I like that line.
He didn't stop the vandalism of a government building, and he didn't stop a guy robbing a gas station, which is like, that's kind of what people, you know, the gimmick of, like, Batman beats up poor people. Like, it's, you know.
Yeah.
You know, you can comment on that. Like, what you said is fucking, that's interesting to me. Because that's real, like in the news cycle and shit. It's like, oh, a rich white person dies. That's important.
Yeah.
Well, I guess there's a lot more coverage about like cops shooting black people now or shit like that. But historically, no.
Well, you tie in with the Ukraine thing. Maybe it's not good, but like, oh, everyone's upset about Ukraine, but like, oh, the U.S. is like attacking brown people over the Middle East and no one.
Places.
Yeah, but it's like, oh, Russia attacks a country full of white people and everyone's outraged. So you tie in with that, for example.
Yeah. Well, I just didn't like. That's not entirely accurate anymore about the news not covering, like, but historically.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it was a black person that died, no, was not covered. What was I talking about?
The government building, the robbing store.
So, and he says like, I have to pick what I like, my fights and shit like that, and he chooses to pick like just a random act of violence.
Yeah,
That's what he stops, and I feel like there's like a huge missed opportunity there.
Yeah.
Because that's something that people talk about with Batman all the time. Like that's like the gimmick. Like your uncle always, not your uncle. Sorry, fucking I don't know. Like your relative will post on Facebook like Batman beats up poor people. Like why doesn't he just like?
Yeah, your weird uncle goes on Facebook and writes that.
Not okay. You get my point.
No, it's funny.
Yeah, it's like losers on Facebook.
Yeah.
They just post shit like, or people. It's on Twitter too.
It's more Twitter. That's a more Twitter thing, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
Facebook's a wasteland.
But
so Twitter, but in different ways.
My point is that's like a very lazy like. You don't like to have fun, do you?
Yeah.
Like, you ever go to parties? Like no, you're a fucking loser. Just like watch Batman, just enjoy Batman. But it's good content for a movie.
Yeah.
You could have that be great content for a movie because
facts.
Like, he's not beating up someone for trying to steal a TV to like be able to afford food for their family. Like, that's kind of, he chose not to do that.
Yeah.
He chose not to pick on like the political people. He chose not to pick on the guy that was. You never know why someone's robbing a gas station, but maybe he needed the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, he chose to like save the random act of violence of like a gang beating. I don't know. There's a few missed opportunities, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So if you had him attack the dude trying to rob the gas station to get money for his family or whatever.
Yeah, like you said, there could have been an element in the movie of, you know, Batman beats up poor people, it's okay. Riddler kills rich people.
He's evil.
He's the villain.
Yeah.
That's an interesting fucking angle. And I feel like this movie didn't have an angle.
Yeah, it's missed opportunity.
Yeah. That sucks.
Yeah, and it kneecaps the movie.
Yeah,
it really does.
It needed that.
Yeah.
It needed that.
It did.
And I did want to mention this too. This is kind of off topic or not.
DC, hire us, dead us. Hire me and Dylan.
That was a good ass idea.
Hire me and Dylan.
And that was like, I did say the thing about.
Let us be consultants on Batman Part 2. Well, when Matt's like, oh, how's this sounding on the script? Come to me and Dylan.
We'll work that shit out.
Yeah.
We will. Tell us the villain. We'll help you out. Email us, Matt. Tell us the villain. Tell us the villain.
For real.
No, but I did have the idea of this was my classic genius villain idea.
Mm-hmm.
That's like Batman should have been the killer and then like reformed as his character arc. But when you said like, Evan, you're a genius. I have 600 IQ. You have 700 IQ.
No.
Because I think that genuinely like the poor rich hypocrisy.
Yeah.
That's a great angle.
That would have been part of it. Yeah,
Really
that would have
smart.
been, yeah.
That's really smart.
Yeah, it sucks. It was a huge missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Because it goes, like, what's happening in the movie, it would have worked perfectly.
And Catwoman.
Yeah.
Catwoman is such an easy, like, she fits right into that story, too.
Yeah.
That's fascinating, Evan. That is a great story.
Yeah, they fucked up.
DC, come on now.
See, that's the thing about the movie. I feel like the direction is, like, great. Everything about the movie is so great. The directing was great. Cinematography great. Everything great. It looks beautiful. All the acting's on point. But the writing... writing needed to be cleaned up.
Evan, we can go back and forth all day. We can have probably the greatest ideas to fix the Batman ever. We can have all these fantastic ideas. But you know what would... Quick fix.
Mm-hmm.
Quick fix. Immediate... Like, it would just fix everything. Make Paul Dini write the sequel.
Sure.
Make Paul Dini write the sequel.
Yeah.
Change the writer.
Leave Matt Reeves as directing it.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, change the writer.
Paul Dini.
Um,
Throw him the fucking money. To
Matt Reeves and somebody else wrote it. I don't know who the other guy who wrote it was.
Something, right?
Was it Dylan something? No, that was a producer.
That was a producer,
I was saying it was a producer. But I don't know what his name is.
David Ayer.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. Yeah, maybe Matt just take that. Be like, you know what? I'll leave the script to somebody else.
Yeah, because the directing was literally everything except for the like kind of the writing.
Yeah.
Like everything was.
And maybe some of the editing.
The dialogue writing was good. Well, some of it.
Yeah. No, I mean when I say the writing, I just mean like
the story.
Yeah. The dialogue was on point. Yeah, but and then some of the
except for the exposition and shit.
Well, yeah. Besides that,
but that was more.
That kind of goes hand in hand with the story, though.
That was more of a structure choice.
Yeah.
Than the actual dialogue. Yeah, cool movie.
Yeah. And like we said, it's 3 hours and it didn't need to be 3 hours.
No, because like we were saying too, like maybe hone in a little more on one thing.
Yeah.
It definitely, I will say, the movie did not feel at all like a Spider-Man 3 or like it didn't feel super bloated.
No.
Even though you do have like
a bunch of characters in it. Yeah.
3 of the biggest Batman villains, you know, Batman, Alfred, and Gordon, and all that shit.
Yeah, but it worked naturally. Like having all their stories kind of work together naturally.
Yeah, everything fit super well.
That was good. Okay.
Yeah, not every villain was like. They didn't need to give every villain like a big thing and a big climax. Like, they had their place in the story. They were just a character.
Yeah.
Even though they're like a named Batman villain, they were just a character in the story.
Yeah.
Which was it's
good. Okay.
But it was bloated in terms of course, the runtime.
Yeah.
But you could have kept every single villain in there and cut it down.
Yeah. I agree. I had said this to you after the first time we saw it, but it felt like Matt Reeves was like Warner Brothers. They probably had a really hands-off approach in this and let Matt do whatever he wanted. So he's like, yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna make it 3 hours just because I can. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's literally what happened, but it was like he had full control. So he's just like, I'm gonna make it a fucking 3 hour Batman movie.
Yeah, it does feel like a response to Snyder because they were like, we don't want to hear about no cut.
Yeah, so I didn't even think about it like that.
So you just put out what you need to.
Yeah. We don't want to hear about the Reeves cut. No, for real though, I think also they were like, they didn't want fans to be mad at them about studio interference. They're like, you know what, just do whatever you want. Like you said, a lot of these movies pivoting.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's very directly a response to the whole Snyder thing. So yeah. Because they knew obviously Batman could be their biggest thing since then. Even though Aquaman was huge. So they're just like, Matt, you do what you want. Pretty much.
Yeah. I do think there might have been 2 things. This is on some Nando V movie shit.
Besides the killing thing, maybe Warner Brothers was like, also don't have him killing. But,
I think they might have told him no killing and switched the story up in that way a little bit. And I also think they might have mandated the ending. I think they might have mandated the flood, the climax.
They're like, yeah, you had that comic book reference.
You had that. No, not the comic book reference.
Oh, yeah.
You have a big third act. You have a big apocalypse superhero ending.
Yeah, maybe.
I think that might have been real.
Maybe.
But I could be wrong.
Who knows?
But I feel like for the most part, they let him do what he wanted.
Yeah, I agree. We don't want to hear about no cut. They weren't playing.
They weren't playing. They weren't kidding.
They weren't kidding.
No, you ain't kidding.
Well, yeah, so talking about the characters, we ended up talking about everything.
Yeah, we kind of...
Because everything kind of lies with the characters in this movie. But there is something I did want to talk about.
Ooh.
Since,
was it the part where it goes like, away?
I like that a lot.
That part?
That was dope. Batman gadgets. I guess we could have mentioned it when we talked about Batman, but I do want to talk about it.
We didn't mention that. We were going a little long on Batman, so we wanted to move on.
They were cool.
They were cool.
And they were...
Can I tell you something?
He had nothing very overly crazy. Yeah,
Can I tell you one thing?
Yeah.
Before we move on to what gadgets he did have, let's talk about one gadget that he didn't have.
What was that?
He didn't use no batarangs.
Oh, yeah, he didn't use any batarangs. The closest thing he had was, like, on his chest piece.
The closest thing he had was shooting people in the leg.
With a grappling.
No, but, yeah, he did have, like, yeah, you're right, like, the kind of knife batarang
thing
in his chest. And there was, like, magnets.
I guess so, yeah.
It was, like, on. Yeah.
That makes sense, yeah. That's the closest thing, yeah. But, yeah, he did not have any batarangs, which is something I didn't even notice until you pointed it out to me.
And I think...
Was that bad? No batarangs?
Worst Batman on screen.
Okay.
Yeah. No bat credit card.
No bat. Yeah, it's bad.
But yeah, let's talk about the gadgets. So Evan, you want to talk about the first gadget? I have a list here. I'm looking at a list. I'm reading a list. It says the first one. It says the grappling hook.
It was dope.
The grapnel gun.
Very dope.
Did you think it was deliberate, Evan? Did you like it, and did you think it was deliberate? Did you think it was a deliberate Taxi Driver reference, the way that it shot out his little arm?
Maybe, because there are Taxi Driver-esque things in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is a fucking dirty city, it needs to be cleansed. Yeah, like, that's very Taxi Driver-esque. So maybe. His
car is kind of Taxi Driver-y.
Batman's?
Kinda.
How?
I mean, it's not like a taxi.
Yeah.
But it's like kind of like a 70s muscle car.
Yeah, I can see what you mean.
I don't know.
And he himself also talks about, oh yeah, the city's just getting worse and worse, and you have that narration. And also, you are a Taxi Driver. He narrates the movie.
What does Rorschach say? He says the city begs for me to save her,
and
I say no.
That's kind of cringe.
No, that's badass.
Even if that came from the book, I don't care. I don't like it.
How's that cringe?
I don't know. It just doesn't sound good to me.
Does he say that?
It was in the movie, yeah.
I don't know.
I don't remember if it's in the comic.
Book he's... Wait. I might be tripping, but I think in the book he says maybe. I might be tripping. I might be tripping.
And I say, maybe.
That's probably wrong. I'm sorry. Anyways, so yeah.
You did a little Joker laugh there.
Clip that, chat. Clip that.
Oh, okay.
So let's talk about I'm still looking at my list, my classic list of Batman gadgets from this movie, and we already talked about it. It's the cool Batman logo.
Yeah, we did
on
talk
his
about
chest. That's definitely on my list.
He also has like on his. You only see it once. He has like a taser on his like glove.
You know what's that happens to be my number 3 gadget I have here. On the
okay,
list.
Oh yes.
He has the taser. He like shoots into someone's jugular.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
His suit itself, it's like.
It's kind of a gadget.
It's not a gadget, but I just wanted to mention this because we talked about this. It's like he does wear the bulletproof suit, but it's more realistic.
Yeah.
It's not like they just bounce off him. He's like, whenever he gets shot in the movie, it's like he's getting punched.
Yeah.
And sometimes it fucks him up. There's like twice where, like when he gets shot with the shotgun.
Yeah.
That fucked him up.
And they use it to great visual effect.
Yeah, they do.
They do not.
Oh, it does. When he's like bouncing off his suit, it looks awesome.
And you know what? I feel like that was like a really
or the scene when he's in the dark and the only light is when they're shooting on his suit. That was awesome.
For me, that felt like because you have like in comic book movies, sometimes they'll do like a bit of a comic book homage or reference. Am I right, Evan? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, you're right.
So like in Ang Lee's Hulk, they have 3 different scenes in comic book panels.
They do. That's
but
correct.
there's another way you can do it, kind of like this movie. That's where I felt like that was. Like kind of like a strobe light effect with the gunshots.
Yeah.
It felt like kind of like a comic book somehow. Maybe like you're reading the panels and he's walking through and beating up people. And,
yeah.
Very
That
cool.
was awesome. That
Very
was
cool.
awesome.
It was a great effect.
It was.
Great effect. And that looked badass in the trailers too. You know.
It did. It did.
So yeah, very cool. And like you said, you know, good, impactful.
Yeah. Like it felt real. So.
Yeah, because
I feel like a lot of people have this misconception about bulletproof vests.
Oh yeah.
They think like, oh, it just shoots you and you feel nothing. No, it's like you get like a massive like punch.
Yeah, it's like you got punched.
Yeah.
But he's just fucking barrel chested through that shit anyway. Like the shotgun gets him, but it slows him down.
But like in the first scene too, it's like it shoots him and like it pushes him back a little bit.
Yeah.
When he gets shot, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I really like. I don't know if this is true or if I got like Facebook memed on, but I think that kid
Take place in the 90s. I'm joking.
Is this take place in the freaking 90s? No. That kid, you know the kid with the which I thought this was kind of clever. The kid with like the half skull face, and he was the
very subtle. Very subtle.
I
I liked it. But it's like obviously that's what they were doing. He wasn't fully evil.
He wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't the one that was like, fully on board with everything. And plus, he's the one that's visually distinct, so you can tell which one he is.
Yeah.
That he's the one that's not on board. So it kind of worked in two ways.
Yeah.
I guess he played Robin in something.
Did he really?
I guess. I
never heard that.
I heard that.
It could be true. I don't know.
Like I said, I probably got
and
Facebook
what? Like
memed
Legends
on.
of Tomorrow?
I think he played Jason Todd in something.
Really?
I think so.
You got Facebook misinformation.
I got Facebook misinformation for.
No, it could be true.
I might have.
I don't know anything about that.
I might have. I probably am.
Like, did he do voice or like you played him? In Legends of Tomorrow.
Again, I think I'm wrong, but I almost want to say he was in Titans.
In Titans? But Dick Grayson's in Titans.
So is Jason.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I've never seen Titans. So.
Maybe he played... I don't know. I probably got memed on. But I read somewhere that he played Robin in something else. But maybe I got memed on. I don't know.
I'm not sure. I don't
but anyways,
we can look that up later.
Confirmed. That's Robin.
Yeah. There you go.
I think we all know it. So
maybe in the future.
Kevin Feige be like...
Yeah. Oh, and the Batmobile. Batmobile was fucking
The
cool,
Batmobile
man.
lost its wheel.
It did. I liked when it was like, it took a second to start up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't really.
It didn't go immediately.
We didn't talk about it in huge detail, which was like one of the best scenes in the movie.
The chase scene.
The chase scene, and that starts off like you were just talking about the Batmobile's like reveal.
Yeah.
Is like intimidating, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah, but it's like he tries to start it and it moves a little bit, but it doesn't go. It's like it takes, I guess.
It stalls.
Like, yeah. And that was cool. Yeah.
That was cool.
It doesn't like. Nothing. He's not like completely a badass in every single way, Batman. Yeah. I guess that's the way to put it.
There's some. That's where you kind of get some more of the year one elements. Like there's some aesthetic choices, but also like he's like you said, he's not perfect.
Yeah.
Well, he fucks up on the Spanish, but he also fucks up on the wingsuit.
Okay, I was gonna do you want to talk about that now?
Yeah.
I really wanted to talk about it. That was fucking awesome.
And
when
also,
he flies.
like you said, the car stalls.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
No, you take it away, Dylan.
Batman flying.
He does fly.
Batman flying. He's silly. Hit his head.
It's so goofy though when he's flying. It has like the shot in his face, but it was so fucking badass at the same time. And we were talking about this. Me, you, and Andy were talking about this in the group chat. It was cool. He was like scared before he jumps.
Yeah.
And they don't tell you, like you said. It's not like the MCU is like, I've never done this before. Will it work? Like, it's very subtle. You just get the idea.
Alfred's like, that's a prototype. We've never used it before. What are you doing? But he's just like really fucking nervous.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's cool because it also gives you the impression that like he is like Batman from the comics or something, where he's like he has all this shit. He's super prepared.
Yeah.
But this one, this is one of the things that he hasn't tried yet.
Yeah.
But even though he has a wingsuit, it's like, when has he ever been high enough to need a wingsuit?
Yeah. And if when the cops are chasing him.
Yeah, he gets chased all the way up to the top of the GCPD, and he fucking base jumps off of it or whatever. Wingsuits away.
It looks fucking cool. And those shots on his face, yeah, it was just so badass.
Those POV shots, I was
like, no, they're goofy, but I don't know, it was really cool. It was really cool. And when he fucks up, it was awesome.
You know what I really fucking love about that whole thing too? Well, it's not like my favorite part of it, but I love how in the trailer they fucking play you.
What do you mean?
And you think he has like a Dark Knight wingsuit. Like, you know how in The Dark Knight he just glides like the
Oh,
Arkham games?
yeah.
But in this, it's like literally like a goofy, ugly
Yeah,
wingsuit, like in real life.
Yes,
That like barely works.
Yeah.
Like, not barely works, but it doesn't work in
he doesn't have full control of it.
Yeah, it doesn't make you like glide like a hang glider or like a like float. Like sometimes Batman just float. Like, no, like it's like a wingsuit, and like if you...
And then he has a parachute also.
Yeah, and there's like a parachute in it that slows you down.
And then like the parachute gets like caught on the bridge when he's coming down.
Yeah, and he slams his head on the light and fucking lands on the concrete.
Yeah,
It's fucking awesome. But what I was saying was they misdirect you kind of in the trailer.
Yeah, you think you kind
you
of
see him on a roof, and then it cuts to him like whizzing by the window. You know that one shot where it's like he's really fast and he goes. Yeah, so they kind of trick you into thinking he can glide like Dark Knight Batman, but no, he has a wingsuit.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome.
That was a great scene. And I like also the cut after he fucks up and he gets up and he's like in pain. The next scene they immediately cut to him like just standing up there waiting. Who's he waiting for? Gordon? Yeah, I think he meets Gordon in the next scene. Yeah, he does.
No, because
and it's like nothing happened. I don't know. It's funny. Another like subtle piece of comedy.
Yeah, like there's. It's funny too because there's like, it gives you the hint of like there's shit that goes into being Batman that's not glamorous.
Yeah,
like, kind of behind the scenes.
But also it's like in that next scene he tries to play himself like a badass again because Gordon's like, man, you could have held back on that punch. He's like, I did. Yeah. But it's like you're saying that, but we know like we just saw you like fucking up like a second ago. Not that those two things are related, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're not like that badass.
It's the contradiction.
Yeah.
Like, between those two scenes, like, back to back. Yeah.
I don't know if that was intentional, but it's funny.
Yeah. It is funny.
Good movie.
Muy bueno.
Muy bueno. So yeah, there's not too much like crazy technology. He has like a smoke bomb thing that's like has a timer that he uses at the end when he's fighting all the Riddlers.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't.
He doesn't. He has a bomb that he throws onto a fire extinguisher.
Oh yes. Okay, it's a bomb. Yeah. Okay. It was not a smoke bomb. You're right.
Yeah, he has like an impromptu.
Smoke
bomb.
Yeah.
So maybe that'll give him the idea for the next movie.
Yeah,
to make a smoke bomb.
Yeah.
That's pretty badass.
Character development. There you go.
Arkham game upgrade.
And what else? And we talked about the eye thing. We talked about that at the beginning.
Yeah.
That's like the craziest piece of technology.
The most nutty thing he has.
Yeah.
Yeah, because his Batmobile is literally just a car.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it has like a fire on it, but...
But the car itself is like...
It's just a car.
Yeah.
With no license plate. Is that it? That's all you got?
Pretty much. He doesn't have like too many crazy gadgets in it.
It's a bike.
He does have a bike, but it's a pretty normal bike.
He like punches people in the head.
Yeah, he punches people in the head.
That's about it. Yeah, and like you said, the taxi driver grappling hook.
Yeah, and like
it's unique.
They never really explain why he has or how he has the technology.
Yeah.
You just summon up to Eve Rich, but it's not like Batman Begins or Dark Knight where he has like Lucius Fox.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too because we talked about this after the movie. Mm-hmm. There's the element of like, well, you want us to feel something for the Waynes. You want us to be like surprised by some of the shit the Waynes do, which we didn't even talk about that. But I mean, there's not that much to talk about. But like, there's like a half-hearted attempt to make like there be a twist about Thomas and Martha.
Yeah, and it's very weak, and it goes nowhere. And you immediately you think Thomas Wayne is like bad, then 10 seconds later you find out he's good. Not much to talk about because it's not.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
But I was telling Evan after we saw the movie, I was like, they could have, if they gave us a little more of the Waynes, because I understand wanting to distance yourself from Batman Begins or an origin movie.
Yeah.
But then, like, why have Thomas and Martha be like kind of a big deal? Like, just kind of maybe move on from them. If you don't want to do the origin. Because you kind of need the origin to care about them or more scenes with them or something. But then, on the flip side, you do get to leave out Lucius. Because it's like, well, they kind of understand maybe he gets some of it through Wayne Tech or whatever. They probably remember from Batman Begins. Let's just skip that.
Yeah.
We don't need that for this movie.
Yeah, I agree.
There's kind of like, you know what I mean? You can't do both. Mm-hmm. You can't have both.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, if you're going to do it. If you're not, don't do it.
Maybe they'll bring him in for a sequel. Who knows? Like,
Lucius?
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, they should do it like J.K. Simmons and just bring back fucking Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Morgan Freeman was awesome as Lucius Fox.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love Lucius, man.
Yeah.
He's a good.
Yeah, me too. Lucius Fox is awesome.
Good character. Good character.
So yeah, that's the Batman. You got anything else you want to talk about in the Batman?
Any other cool thoughts? I do like how all the villains got a moment to really shine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's badass. Like I said, Penguin with his reveal in the Iceberg Lounge, I thought was like a perfect Penguin moment. I don't know what Catwoman's would be. Do you have a cool Catwoman moment?
Well, she has more screen time than both of them. She has she does save his ass at the end. She does a lot of cool things throughout the whole movie. So I don't know. She doesn't have like that one big like scene because she kind of throughout the whole thing.
Because I feel like that Penguin moment and that Riddler moment are like, that's them.
Yeah.
Like in that scene. Perfect. Like Catwoman, does she have one? I guess I would say right before the fight. Oh, not sorry. Excuse me. Right before the car chase. When they go in, Catwoman's about to like kind of get in trouble. Batman comes and like helps her.
Yeah, yeah.
And then she finesses and like she helps out Batman in the fight. I guess I don't remember exactly what happened in that part. Right.
I think.
Anyways, the point is they get like her and Batman get into some trouble, and she's there to steal money.
Mm-hmm.
And then they manage to get out of their little situation, and she still steals the money anyway. Yeah. That's I guess I would say that.
Yeah. Or the scene at the beginning where they fight each other, maybe.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
No, yeah, the moment where she propels down from the skylight and opens the safe. That's like, and then they fight real quick.
Yeah.
And then kind of like, also that moment where like, Batman and Catwoman are kind of like, he has his like hand over her mouth and they're like trying not to get caught like together.
Yeah, yeah.
That was like a super Catwoman. I'd probably pick that one too. But maybe she.
That was in the part of the same scene though. If right after they have the fight.
What do you mean?
Where he's holding like his mouth over,
I'm saying
his
all
hand
that.
over her
I'm
mouth.
saying all that.
Oh yeah.
All of that plus the scene where she steals the money.
Okay. Yeah. I like about the fight though. Just on Catwoman, really quick. I like when she like catches him off guard when he's first watching her because he thinks she's like involved with the mayor's murder because he sees her in the picture like her boot and he follows her home and he's watching her. When it like catches him off guard, when she jumps out the window and starts like doing the acrobatics, and he's like, "What the fuck?" Like you see in his face.
That too.
Yeah, that was a good little moment.
That too.
Yeah. Well, I guess we didn't talk about the very ending of the movie. It's kind of Spider-Man 1-esque.
Is it?
Where he's just like he chooses. Yeah, I gotta be the superhero. I can't go be in love with you because I gotta be a superhero.
Oh yeah, he does make that choice.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he does. And also,
And that is the Western thing also. And for those of you who don't know, I wrote a cool paper in college about how superheroes are the new Western. So there you go.
We gotta start linking the Google Docs.
On my paper.
Episode.
I was actually very proud of that paper. It took me a long time. Maybe one day I'll do a cool video. Like, I'll just read off this. I'll do a cool video essay.
It'd be cool if, like, you should let me read it and we can just talk about it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Podcast.
That'd be cool.
Maybe I'll watch some of the movies you cited it or something.
But yeah, they are very similar. And then, like, tropes. A lot of the things going on in Westerns are also happening in superheroes. But that's a big discussion for another day.
And also, I kind of see a parallel there to Arkham City a little bit. Where Catwoman has, like, they have really just visually, like, the way that you have the alternate ending where Catwoman can leave him, or like quote unquote alternate ending. It's not really a real choice. It's a joke. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it reminds me of that a little bit.
Yeah, kind of. I remember you mentioned that every time I saw it. It also reminds me of Drive.
Does it?
Yeah, and Drive is also a movie that owes a lot to Westerns.
I might actually watch Drive when you leave right now.
Really?
Yeah, no joke. I'm actually maybe. I'll watch a cool movie.
Oh yeah, I was saying, but yeah, it also kind of reminded me of Drive. Just in him like riding off alone. He's a good ending. I liked it.
Oh, well, is there anything cool about this movie that we didn't mention? Joker was badass.
We didn't talk about Joker. So, Joker.
So Joker.
Not much to say.
Well, I did want to. There is something you said you liked about it. You want to talk about that?
Oh yeah. So So Mr. I don't know how you say his name. Barry Keegan. I don't know how you say his name.
I think it's Keegan.
Yeah, the guy who played Druig in the Eternals.
Classic Druig.
In the end of the movie, Riddler is like locked up in Arkham. He's freaking out, and then like, oh, you hear this little voice from the cell over. Turns out to be Joker. I don't know what's he saying to him, Dylan. He's like,
He says, and I quote, "Hey, Riddler." I don't know.
He's just saying some shit.
He's saying
He
some
basically
bullshit.
like trying to hype him up, I guess.
He's saying some bullshit. He's like, you didn't do bad, kid.
Yeah.
But I'll show you the ropes. We'll be friends. We'll be super friends.
Yeah, he's like, riddle me this. The less of them you have, the more they're worth. And Riddler's like, a friend. And then you just hear him start doing the fucking Joker laugh. Yeah, and they both start laughing maniacally together. What I was saying, though, that I did like about it, of course, it's very stupid that Joker's in it, and also not great casting. Because, like, we've had so many Jokers, but the thing I did like about it was that, like, it felt very comic booky in a way that we haven't seen in a long time. Just having these two random villains, like, see each other and be like, why don't we just work together? I don't know. I like that. It was funny.
Yeah, because we were talking to... you mentioned this to me after we saw the movie, I think for the first time, right?
Yeah.
And I was kind of asking you, like, I was like, oh, well, what about this and this? And you were kind of like, no, like, two established villains.
Yeah.
Being like, let's team up. Like, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, because you mentioned, like, The Dark Knight Rises had, like, Bane and Talia. But it's like, Bane and Talia, their origin for kind of, like...
baked in together.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas these are, like, two completely separate
Or, like,
villains.
Joker forces Two-Face to become Two-Face.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like you said, there's, like, just two established villains who are just like, yeah, why don't we just be friends? That was... You don't see that very often now. It reminded me of, like, the 66 show or something. Where you could tell your cool fun fact about...
Another cool fact only Dylan noticed.
Yeah.
So these are patented things that only you will get here on RNS Podcast from Dylan. Facts. So, that's a good transition.
It is.
I mean, you set me up real nice.
I know.
So yeah, in the 66 Batman movie, the Adam West Batman movie, there were 4 villains. Do you know what those villains were, Evan?
I think you have to tell us.
Were they Catwoman?
Was it?
Were they Riddler?
Maybe.
Were they Penguin?
I think so.
Were they Joker?
Yes.
Guess what other fucking movie all those villains are in? This one.
Yes, they are.
Shit. Cool Dylan fact. Number 22. That was it.
There you go.
Dylan noticed that. No, so yeah, my point is all the villains from the 1966 Batman movie were all in the Batman movie from 2022.
They were.
Great.
And that's kind of interesting with the whole villain team up thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like a classic style team up kind of setup. And
so who knows? In the next movie, Joker might ride a surfboard.
I did want to mention this too. We talked about this. It's much better than the fucking setup in Justice League. The original Justice League post-credits. Because that was a post-credits where 2 villains that were not in the fucking movie at any time, even the 4-hour-long one, they were not in the movie. It's like, great, you're teaming... Who the fuck are you? I don't care. But this, at least one of them was in the movie.
Yeah. And then, of course, everyone knows who the Joker is.
Yeah, and it's fully established that he went to Arkham, and...
Yeah.
He's at a place that we knew where he was. But in Justice League, they were just like, yeah, it's 2 villains you never seen before on a boat.
Cool.
Cool idea. Great idea.
I haven't seen it, so...
Terrible fucking movie.
I believe you.
Yep.
Never gonna watch it.
Good.
But yeah, but it's just like, why Joker? I don't know.
Actually, we didn't mention this either. The day before we saw the Batman, Evan asked his classic riddle to me. He was like, Dylan, do you think Joker will be in Batman? And I was like, there's a 0% chance that Joker will be in the Batman. And I was just plumb wrong on that one.
Well, you wouldn't think they were gonna do it, but they did.
I literally, they just couldn't fucking help themselves.
Yeah.
They couldn't fucking help themselves. But it's just like, how do you not know that people don't want that? Like,
maybe people do want it. I don't know. It could be just us. I really don't know.
I have not seen the only thing I've seen is detractors.
I agree, yeah.
I have not seen a single soul that's like, yo, Joker!
But we do have a cool little story.
Do we?
Of a person sitting next to you who's like, you gotta have the Joker there. But that's my point, though. Is like, maybe to like someone who isn't as deeply invested in this, like, just a normie.
It's like, yay, Joker.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's just, they did Batman Begins again.
Yeah, they did.
It's just like, tease... It's just stupid.
And then we kind of mentioned that at the very end, Ra's al Ghul and Riddler kind of have the same goal at the very end.
Yeah.
Like this, like Gotham can't be saved, just destroy it.
Yeah. Yeah, but like one was like an Illuminati type shit, and one was just like a guy.
Yeah.
But it was the same idea. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, you end up doing that, and then you had the Joker tease at the end. It's like you really that was all in Batman Begins. Why do that again?
Bacas.
Yeah, for real. But whatever. But there are some cool little theories out there.
Are there?
There are about maybe this isn't Joker. Maybe it is the Two-Face. And shout out to my friend Kevin, because he was the first one who said that to me. He was like, maybe it's Two-Face. And then I thought about what Joey said about it looked like he didn't have any lips. It looked like just teeth. And I was like, oh, that's literally. And you only see half of his face. And then I'm like, oh, that's like Two-Face.
Yeah, you see his profile.
Yeah, and that's like Two-Face. No lips, only teeth.
One thing I didn't.
That's what Joey was saying that it looked like on him, and then him saying Two-Face. You only see half his face. I was like, oh shit.
Well, we did say stay tuned. We have factual evidence to back up this theory, Kevin. Okay.
Yes.
But before we get to that, I wanted to mention.
If you haven't liked the video yet, please like.
That is what I was gonna say. But also, I wanted to mention our experience in the theater. We both I don't know if we looked at each other, but I think we both knew
when we heard the little voice.
once we saw Riddler, like the aftermath of the Riddler. He's like, "No, I've been defeated," and like the news is on and everything, and he's like, "Ah!" He's crying, and then you hear like, "Hey," and we're like, "Fuck," because like you just know it's gonna be the Joker.
Yeah.
We're all clowns down here.
Oh, yeah. Also, he directly says some shit about being a clown or whatever. So
on Twitter, they call us clowns.
Yeah. But do you want to talk about your little piece of Two-Face evidence besides what we were mentioning about the speculation and how he looks?
Dylan is a genius. Every day I prove it.
Facts.
Is that right?
Yeah, of course.
Every episode I prove it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have it on your phone still?
Yeah.
I would love to actually look at it. If you don't mind.
So, in the after credits of this movie, it's like leaves a link. Also, more little Matt Reeves thing. The after credits of this movie reminded me of Cloverfield a bit, of the Cloverfield's after credits.
Yeah, it's like some alternate reality game, ARG shit.
Well, not even just that. It's just like you don't really hear a voice, but like in Cloverfield, you do. There's like a voice recording at the end, and this is like they're staticky. It just kind of reminded me of that. It's something very quick. It's not like a big after credit scene. But anyways, in this, it gives you like the website link for radalada.com. And then, here you go, Dylan. Here's a little...
Okay, so yeah. Like Evan said, you have the opportunity in real life to go and seek out some clues.
Yes.
To seek out some clues. And are these clues... Because the website launched after the movie. So it's like, they probably wouldn't be hints towards the movie.
Yeah.
That already came out. It's maybe hinting towards the sequel. Information. So here we go. Now, Dylan is a genius. This is my original thought. Do not copy. Do not plagiarize.
Facts.
I will be pissed off. I'll be peeved off. So
I'll be mad too.
And Evan will be mad. And you really don't want to get Evan mad. Like me, I might let it slide. Evan?
No. I'm going to come for you.
I'm not so sure. So, it basically has some, like... what's the word? IP addresses.
Yeah.
It has some, like, Gotham IP addresses. And the cool numbers are references to several key Batman issues of the comic books. Of the Batman. You ever heard of those?
I've never heard of comic books.
So, they are references to...
The release date specifically, I think, right?
The release dates, yes. The full month, day, year of the month, day, year, and issue number.
Okay.
So the first one is the first appearance of Batman,
of course.
Detective Comics 27, famously, and also the first appearance of Gordon. And I'll just go quickly through the other ones. Batman #1, which introduced Catwoman and Joker, the first issue of Batman's solo title. And then the first appearance of Penguin, Riddler, Falcone, Alfred.
All characters in this movie. All the characters
Evan, that are included. Perhaps Perhaps we'll get to it. But
I just meant before you get to the big one. I'm saying all these characters are like players in this movie, but
are they? That's my theory, Evan.
But are they?
Well, there's two elements.
Well, one.
Of this.
Yeah,
there's two elements of this.
Yes.
So really, what I think they want you to take away from this is
like cool little Easter egg. Oh, look at all these.
Actually, Evan, do you mind if we do something?
What is it?
Can you open Google?
Yes, I can.
Can you look up this issue? So the final one, I'm sorry to leave you hanging, our dear viewer. So the last one I had mentioned was the introduction of Alfred, and then the final one is listed as Batman 258. Can you Google that for me, Evan?
I can.
So it's listed here that was an issue where Two-Face was sprung from Arkham Asylum.
Oh.
Now, I don't know why they would list that.
Why would they mention Two-Face?
All of the other issues are first appearances.
They are.
So I'm wondering, is this actually a key issue in a separate way?
Synopsis for this is Two-Face is sprung from Arkham Asylum by a renegade general who planned to hold Washington, D.C. for ransom.
Oh, shit.
With an atomic... I'm sorry, just that goofy old comic. However, tension grew between Two-Face and the general, leading the latter to reveal some of their plan to the police. The general commits suicide after giving this information to help Batman and Robin find Two-Face and goons. However, they both fall for Two-Face's traps and are easily captured. Blah, blah, blah. The point is that Two-Face escapes Arkham.
Okay, I guess that is the only fucking important thing that happens in that comic.
But why would they have Two-Face in there? Why would they have Two-Face in there? Could it be because it actually is Two-Face? Who knows? And he's in Arkham Asylum, the character, who we assume is Joker, but maybe is Two-Face.
Is that what you were saying earlier, or was that my theory?
Wait, what?
Were you saying that, too?
That he might be Two-Face?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you.
No, I meant this. Like, in regards to the website clue.
Wait, which part of it?
Because aren't people interpreting this as, like, Two-Face will be in the sequel?
Yes, but also, people have been saying, like, maybe that was Two-Face, not Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm asking you, did I make that connection, or was that something that's already a thing?
That Two-Face could be in this movie?
Okay.
Well, we had talked about that, like, yesterday or this morning or something.
What my cool theory was...
Yeah.
Okay, that's where I was, misremembering. My cool theory, Evan, is that all of these, except for the Two-Face one, reference a character that's directly in the movie and named.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Joker's not named, but is he named in the credits?
No, see, that's another thing. They don't name him as Joker. They say, like, unseen Arkham inmate. Yeah.
So, this was my theory about the website thing, okay? Is that the only... Oh, shit, I'm wrong. So, introduction of Batman and Gordon is like... Introduction of Batman and Gordon, introduction of Catwoman and Joker. The rest of them are singular characters.
Yeah.
So, if that is Two-Face and not Joker... This is all stupid because it's just going to be the Joker in the next movie.
Well, who knows? It's fun to speculate.
It's fun, though.
Yeah.
So, Batman #1. Like I said, when Batman first gets his first solo series, Catwoman and Joker are introduced in the same issue.
Yes.
So, what if that IP address, that reference, that date, that comic issue, what if, Evan, that is there, and it's a misdirect?
Yeah, it could be.
Because it's like, that issue's there to represent Catwoman.
Not Joker.
Yeah, even though he does happen to be in it. And then the Two-Face one is there.
Yeah.
Because that's Two-Face.
Yeah.
And then it would all line up as that, like, all these references would be a reference to someone that's actually in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I think that would be the point if it does end up being Two-Face.
Yeah.
So,
Dylan is a genius?
Yeah.
Did I make that up or no?
Make what up?
Did I make that up?
That could be a misdirect?
Yeah.
Well, it just kind of makes sense. Because like I said, there are people already saying he might be Two-Face.
But I'm saying, has someone said that about this yet?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, well,
I didn't read into it. I looked it up right before we started the podcast. Well, I saw it on Reddit right before.
I'm going to take credit for it then.
Well, it's like, it kind of implied, if you believe that Two-Face then. Well, you kind of get it. Yeah, that it's only referencing Catwoman. You know what I mean? Like
it
kind of implied with
no, Dylan is a genius. Dylan takes credit for it. There you go.
Oh, yeah, sure.
That is my detective work.
Yes.
Yeah.
But interesting.
It is really fun to think about and talk about, though.
Joker does actually have a cameo in that issue, also the Two-Face one that we were just talking about. Yeah. So who knows?
But yeah, it's just the next movie's gonna come out. It's gonna be Joker, so it doesn't matter.
Well, I don't know.
Or maybe it's gonna be Joker, but he's called Harvey Dent.
Oh God! Imagine that.
We know his exact origin.
Who knows? They might be doing something. Who knows? I think that's a good way to end the episode.
That fucking horrible rambling.
We are already at the 3-hour mark. It's getting drawn out, kind of like the Batman.
That is fucking crazy. That is fucking crazy. There was a ton to talk about, though. There was a ton of fun, Evan.
There was.
If you listen this far,
thank you.
Again, I say you don't leave a like, don't comment.
No, stop.
Don't share. You've done enough. So just relax.
No,
just
do
relax.
all that.
You kick
That
back,
only takes like 10 seconds.
You knock your boots up. I mean, maybe you leave a like before you knock your boots up, but you just relax.
And sub.
Well, no, you just relax. Thank you for listening.
Why you say that? I don't like that.
We're modest. We're modest.
No,
okay?
I'm not.
We're modest.
Speak for yourself.
We want you to relax. I want to relax. You relax. We all relax.
Okay, fine. I agree. Don't sub.
But, maybe if you're not too tired,
Oh.
maybe you leave your theories for the next Batman movie.
Maybe.
What villains do you want to see in the next Batman movie? I would genuinely like to know.
Maybe it's Clayface masquerading as Joker, masquerading as Two-Face. Who knows?
Masquerading as the Harvey Dent Two-Face.
Yeah.
I mean, Harvey Dent Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And then there could be like a Harley Quinn.
There could be.
That and she's Two-Face in the other way. Her jaw is like falling off or something.
That'd be scary. Yeah, instead of like vertical, it's horizontal.
Yeah. How would Two-Face wear his face? Horizontal or vertical? Get it?
Vertical, I guess.
Get it?
Not really.
It's like how would dogs wear pants?
Well, I get that, yeah, but never mind.
The episode's over.
Thank you for listening. Go see the Batman.
2 out of 3 stars.
8 out of 10.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.